And hooker has gone to Jonathan Brown, who'll be looking for a big performance today for the Lions lead from the front.
We're underway. Hudson in the ruck against Bell Chambers. Rich pounces early, flicks out a handball to Hanley, who was quick in off the square. Golby, who had a horror day last week against the Cats with a couple of mistakes early. We want to get his confidence up early in this one. Zaharakis, Heppel getting a couple of touches. Hawking having a piece of it. Stanton averaging 26 possessions a game at the moment, having a good season. To Lonergan. So everybody getting a touch. Bell Chambers flicks it up. Zaharakis, kickable by his standards, keeps it low, bounces to the square, and it's behind.
Well, that's exactly the way the Bombers like to play, and that's the challenge for the Brisbane Lions today, is to try and slow them down at every opportunity. Have to work the mark and use the ball better than that.
They made a few errors early in the game against Geelong last week, and it came back to haunt them, the Brisbane Lions. Jetta has the shot here from the pocket if he wants to. Been a sharpshooter this year. 7 goals for the season. Having a think about it. Opens it up by Meter. And he hits the post. They're having a good ride.
Well, McGrath picks the ball up again for the Lions. He'll be looking to rectify the last kick out that he produced. I'm tipping he'll go long and wide here.
You're not about out. He does go long and wide. Hudson the target. Melksham got in the way. Took a good grab. About to send the Bombers back inside 50. They're owning the Sharon right now. High to the square. Fly from Monfries. Off hands. Jetta pounces. Cranberry had a hard time of it in front of goals this year so far, but he slots the first this afternoon.
3 inside 50s for 3 scoring shots so far. They get their goal on the board. They go to 1-2-8, the Bombers, and Brisbane will be looking to this next centre bounce for Hudson to get his hands on the ball. McGrath's had 2 kick-ins directly going back to the opposition, 1 for out on the full, and secondly Melksham there holds his ground against Ben Hudson. And a good ball back into a dangerous spot, and that's where Essendon were able to capitalise and kick their first goal of the game.
He's kicking a goal at below 50% this year, Stuart Cranberry, but he is better on the run than he is as a set shot.
So it's been all the Bombers in the opening 2 minutes of play here at Etihad Stadium. Bell Chambers goes up, starting to find a little bit Bell Chambers the last couple of weeks. In he goes again. Rich hard at it. Stanton for the Bombers, ducks his head, shoves it through, looks to draw the free kick. Nothing coming, says the umpire on that occasion. Rockcliffe is in there. He's been a star in recent times for Brisbane, and for all that we've gone about 15 metres.
Dempsey starting for the Bombers, coming back from injury. Lovett Murray, the other one, coming back on the bench.
12-4 the possessions in the early part of this game. Essendon's way. We'll have another bounce as Jobe Watson, the Bomber captain, who has been revved up this week after lowering his colours last week. The coach has got right into him. He's a proud champion of the Essendon Football Club, the captain. He will lift. Bell Chambers goes again. There he is, going in hard. Free kick to the Bombers. Dragged off the ball. So the free kick going to Lonergan. Heppel. Centre wing. Turns it over. It's coming straight back.
Redden out wide to Hanley, who provides the run. Jonathan Brown's first touch of the afternoon. It's clean. Gives it off to Harwood into the team this week. Cornelius fumbles that. It was there for the taking.
What's ahead of Cornelius too, had he swung around, was Joel Patfull, who's made his name as a defender, but he's capable of going forward once every blue moon, is picking up Dustin Fletcher as the backman. So they want Fletcher's influence restricted coming out of defensive end.
Hocking to Lonergan to the midfield. Jetta almost hassled them out of it. Monfries got a handball up. Knocked away by Adcock. Watson, gang tackle, dragged down, and the ball up in the middle of the ground.
So the Lions have done reasonably well here, Dermot. They were getting killed in the first 2 minutes. They've just closed the game down for a couple of minutes.
Still at half the amount of possessions, Ed, but they've just slowed it. They've had the ability to do this over the last few weeks.
Ryder, Lonergan's been busy. Kicks inside 50. It's an open 50 as well. Cranberry is lurking with intent. Picks the ball up. Little left foot kick is a good one underground. Stanton gets the handball back. Still plenty of play here. Melksham. Time. Good Shepherd. Picks out a man and hits him. Good play. Did not panic, and Paddy Ryder's got a 55 out.
He's going to have to look for a short one here. The Lions have got plenty of numbers deep.
They have. Merritt is right back as well, so the long kick will favour him. Well, there it is. Position 1A for Merritt. Goes up. Good contesting play by Cremery, but Pollock has got it at the fall of the ball for the Lions.
Still under siege, the Lions. Rich gets it from Hanley.
That's the next extension of Cremery's game he's got to get. He's got to be able to learn to be a jumper over a pack or a play. He's got to take some of those grabs.
Been handy, though, to get the ball kicked in the right spot, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but if it sits up over him, some blokes pray for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Carlisle to Fletcher, Dyson. Lovett Murray back into the team this week, testing the hamstring out with that one. And Merritt left it behind, a gift. Cremery's got two, and the Bombers are hot early.
Well, Dwayne, I reckon one of the main reasons is because pre-game today we saw the roof was open, there was some rain came in, some drizzle came in and affected the venue. It's quite wet and damp underfoot down here. We had the sprinklers on early this morning, and I'll tell you what, it's quite awkward for the players at the moment. He's dropped that mark at the top of the goal face, as we know, but I think he's playing with a greasy, wet ball at the moment that he's not expecting, Daniel Merritt, so I can accept that he's made that mistake.
That's pre-game. Matthew Lloyd and the Dustin Fletcher ends here at Etihad Stadium, and the Bombers play here as a home game, and this under the roof, perfect conditions for football right now, even if it is a little slippery on the turf. High tackle on Hudson to take it from the middle.
And this will tell you a little bit of how Brisbane work this. Who's ahead of the ball?
Got a blood rule here, so Merritt coming off. Just while we're just looking, there's a nice blood rule, that one. Belchambers hit him right across the eye. Look at that. The big sauce has got the extra sauce there. Look at this. Whack.
Yeah, it looked like the fleshy bit between the elbow and the...
just above you see it there, above the eye, Eddie.
And Dermot, just with that Lovett Murray kick coming forward, it was a mongrel torpedo punt, but you love them sometimes as a forward because you saw Merritt in all sorts there.
Creates confusion.
It does. You want it in quick and you can read it quickly off the boot. You can get in the right spot, can't you?
Absolutely. It's a 50-50 ball, and forwards are going to love 50-50s.
Well, Belchambers has closed the deal there. He cleaned up his opponent and went back and marked the free kick. That is the perfect play, Dermot.
And got a little bit on the board as well.
Out to Fletcher. Beautiful kick to centre wing. Clever. Off hands. Monfries did it beautifully. Tell us why it was so clever, Derm.
They just moved in with the forearm under the...
Free kick at centre half forward. Free kick for a hold on Lonergan. Rich was holding him, restricting his run into the forward 50.
100 metres off the ball. He was trying to get down for the chain, and Lonergan's going to have it from 50 metres out, and he has been a dominant player. No wonder Rich was holding on to him. I reckon the runner might have gone out to Rich and said, come on, tighten up for a while.
He's tough, this kid, Lonergan. He's no longer a kid. He's genuinely hard.
So the 25-year-old, 17 tackles in his 3 games this season, Dermot, just to underline your point. So Lonergan, to make it a beautiful start for the Bombers, comes in, kick is on its way. No problem whatsoever. That went 55 on the fly. Goal to the Bombers. All right, it's been all Bombers so far. Rodney Eade, what would you be doing in the Brisbane Lions coach's box?
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, there's been a few matchups that are going Essendon's way. Lonergan is running with Rich. Rockcliffe is trying to go with Watson. And it's interesting that Joel Patfull as a forward on Dustin Fletcher to try and keep him honest as well, and that Golby is trying to run with Stanton.
You see the free kick right of screen here, Dwayne. Right at the top of 50 there.
Was not much in it.
Didn't look like much, Eddie.
No, but the umpire was 4 metres away looking at it.
Still wasn't much in it, Derm.
No, I know, but he had a better view than us.
I'm probably not the bloke to talk to.
Watson with the clearance again. The Bombers on fire. And the Brisbane Lions, after a horrendous first half last week where they were held goalless for the entire first half, are still yet to threaten the scoreboard. Watson rolls that half forward. Hanley had him wrapped up. Rockcliffe, Hanley, turnover.
Look at the numbers of the Bombers.
Bombers fighting each other for possessions. Heppel got it from Watson. He fumbles it, taken to the ground. Howlett dives in, makes his impression felt. Adcock, another fumble. Stanton might make him pay. Jonathan Brown's come back to half back to try and settle them down. There's 20 players around this ball.
Now, if we just just at the cameraman, just to draw away. See Heppel on the left-hand side of screen? Now, he's had a fair bit of the footy as well. He's had 4 possessions off a half-back flank. 47 in front of him is Crisp, playing his 3rd game. Even though Heppel's only in his 2nd season, he's a very smart user of the footy, and he does set up from half-back. If Crisp gets drawn too far in, Heppel will be very, very damaging.
McGrath over the ball. Bombers bustling and pushing and trying to knock it forward in scrum-like fashion. Ball up.
Well, it's 36 disposals to 15 at the moment, which is then gone to 7 inside 50s to 1. And Jonathan Brown, if the Lions are looking to get the skipper into the game, who can certainly lift with his experience, they need to start getting their hands on the ball.
Oh, Bellchambers got it down beautifully, almost to Stanton. Now Heppel, as Dermot said, been standing there for 10 minutes. No one went to him, off hands. Another chance, Melksham, goal Bombers. Too loose. The good players are getting clear for Essendon, and they're making sure of it when they get in front of the goals. They lead by 26 points.
The kid, Crisp, is just getting too close to the action. And if you're going to coach him, it's a positive. Look, he's already in there, and you're obligated to go for it, no problem. But if there's an error, it's an error that he wants to get to the action. Now, you can't blame the kid for that. But if you leave a bloke off the back of the pack, 52 metres out, who can use it, and under a bit of pressure, it was a sort of scrappy kick, but it's the kick that set up the goal.
Spot on, Dermot. It was the kick that set it up. And Dyson Heppel has not missed a game since the day he was drafted. Been an exceptional pickup by the Bombers. Hudson with the palm down. Rich just pumps it in hope. Inside 50. Brown down there. Knocked away by a hooker. Fletcher turns 37 years of age on Monday. Heads out wide. The Bombers have all the answers at the moment. Dyson couldn't make something of that. Harwood. Redden. Rich. Back to Redden. Kick smothered. Monfries. Zaharakis. They are playing with them right now. Dyson to half forward. Almost a clean pick from Cramery. Hits the deck. Golby. He needs to do something with it. Heads wide. Mark taken by Redden out of side. They are under siege. 26 to no score.
Well, they have to get on the board. They just must get some belief forward of the centre.
And plenty of belief for the Bombers at the moment. Of the 10-day break, would they come out a little bit lethargic? No, they've been revved up. They're up, aroused, and playing great football. Hitting the target. Stanton, little chip kick. Monfries. Over the top. Plenty of space. Look at this up the wing. Stanton's kick.
Ran hard.
Yeah, he ran too close to the man on the mark. Just needed to steady. But the Bombers cavalry arrives and take the ball to the boundary line. So, 12 minutes and 50 seconds into the opening quarter, the Bombers have got the perfect start, 26-0. And the problem, Dermot, that we spoke about before the game, and Brad Johnson, about the Brisbane Lions being able to score, is again a major problem, but it's more the fact they can't get it in there.
Been in only twice, and they haven't looked like holding it in.
Jetta, Monfries,
well, it's this here, Dwayne. They're getting the opportunity to play on at every opportunity. Now here, Stanton gets the release. He should go.
So Bellchambers comes off. Howlett comes on. He's kind of spare and wants it. Stanton saw him. He goes longer for Lovett Murray. Good pickup for a guy coming back from a hamstring. Manhandled off it. Black. Guire. Now Redden. Not a lot to go to. It's stagnant. Sits it up, hoping. And that could be a push. Hands from Carlisle. And it's going to go to Cornelius. So opportunity for the Lions right here, right now. Jonathan Brown's leading long.
He went close to grabbing the last one, Jonathan Brown.
And not quite this time.
The umpire put the whistle to the mouth, Dwayne. Put the whistle up there and took it down without blowing it. Now, if we watch that one, he puts the left arm up over Brownie's left arm and denies him the right to actually get 2 hands to the footy. That's what the umpire saw, but decided against the free.
Hocking off the ground. Melksham, good play, Bombers, smother, chance now. Here's the go for the Brisbane Lions. In it comes from Hockinghorn, he's got it, Brown.
It's amazing, Jono, when you aren't touching the ball that much and you do something like that and you double grab it and the ball bobbles for a second, there's never a more nervous half a second until you get hold of it. What would he be thinking between now?
Where is it?
Now.
Where is it?
Three-time Brisbane Lion premiership player. Best and fairest 3 times. 502 career goals. Jonathan Brown, the skipper, needs to put them on the board. The Brisbane Lions, he comes in and kicks and hooks it. Got a bit close.
He's got an 8-goal game here against Essendon. Jonathan Brown, 2005 is a lifetime away. He's not the same man since a couple of disastrous facial injuries.
17-man zone.
Fletcher, the torpedo. That's an 80-metre bomb to the centre circle. Pack flies off hands. Black tries to pounce through some legs, and Davey is away. Thought about going forward, goes back. Stanton, he has Heppel wide. He can get and go. Tucked up against the boundary. Realises there's options aplenty. Bell Chambers is there. He goes past him to Watson. Through his hands, Jetta, tap on, superb. Can Bell Chambers make something of it? Burst the tackle, drag down Adcock. Might have deserved a free. Adcock looks at the umpire, doesn't get it, and a ball up.
Well, it was a smart kick by Davey coming through the middle of the ground. I mean, have a look at the bomb of Dustin Fletcher. That is just absolutely massive into the middle of the ground at Etihad Stadium.
Hudson flicks it down. Ryder stole it back again. Drag back off it. Hocking. Howlett. And we'll get the ball up. Hocking hurt in his head. Concussion issues. He's always in the wars. Missed 3 games after a clash with Polkinghorne in this respective game last year. 2 teams met. Gave Polkinghorne 1, but it cost him weeks. Hudson, palm down. Hocking again in the thick of it. Hudson tried to drag him off it. Rich was thrown out of it. And we'll get another ball up.
Hocking's angry, Derm. He's in there. He's sore. Black's hit him. He's just going to take someone here. There he is. All right, you'll do. Rich, Black, anyone. Leave me alone for 5 seconds, will you? Look at him. Give me a break. Ball up. He might get a goal here. That'll make him happy. Rich. Heard the umpire. Here's a chance for the Bombers. Good play. Heppel goes backwards. Running in and out of trouble was Hooker. Chance now for Harwood for the Brisbane Lions. Maguire got one in the back. Rich flicks it out the back. Can they get it out? Great forward pressure by the Bombers, and they turn it over. And the mark's been taken by Monfries.
The issue at the moment for the Brisbane Lions, Eddie, they've got too many goalkeepers, too many guys just sitting off the contest waiting for someone else to do it. They had 3 or 4 on that occasion, with Merritt sitting back in the goal square, not having any influence on the contest, waiting for someone else to put their head over the ball and win it. It's not happening. Get proactive to win the ball first.
He's kicked 150 goals, 82, Monfries. He's a nice kick of the ball.
Good call.
And there it is. 5 in a row to the Bombers.
There was a time Angus Monfries would kick a banana from there. And look, you love the flair in young players, but you get to a stage where you realise flair is for games 1 to 20. And then you realise you have to be a little bit more professional. And this is a good, solid, professional kick at the goal. It's actually been quite smart in the opening quarter, the way he's played the game. We've seen him deep in defence and kicking goals at the other end.
Just having a look at the how scores coming about for the Bombers at the moment, we can see their goals from turnover, 4 goals to 26, which is virtually the whole Bombers score. Their harassment at the moment is first class. They're not giving the Lions a moment to work with.
James Hird looks very, very calm. Redden, touch play on was the call from his kick. Howlett started on the bench and feeds this wide to Lovett Murray. Crowd roar as he collects on the run. Pokes it inside 50. Stanton and Jetta get in each other's way, but that's been the way for the Bombers. They've been hunting it from the outset. Rockcliffe keeps it alive. Redden, Hanley, not a great kick of the ball. Doesn't really want to kick it himself. Chips one. It is a better kick. And Hudson takes the mark at half forward.
No big target ahead. He's got crumbing players. Oh, Cornelius has made his way to it.
Gets a leap and takes the mark. 50 from goal. Maybe kickable from 50. Loads up, top of the square. Patfield's down there. He goes, can't bring it down. Pollock to his own advantage. Pushed on the kick, but finally they get one. There's the icebreaker.
Well, it was Patfield Derm that makes the contest at the top of the square that enabled Pollock to stay on the ground. I thought initially when the ball went in deep that he would have to have a jump at it here. We see But he does take the ground, and Patfull creates a 2-on-1, makes the contest, and then a smart goal.
So simple too, isn't it, footy? People say, why the half forward so important? The one area where the contested footy, the hardest contested footy in that chain, was the Cornelius mark at true half forward flank.
So the Lions break through. It's taken just under 20 minutes to get their first goal on the board, but they've got it. They trail by
Black's
25 points.
Simon Black's in the ruck.
So let's have a look at this. Dim, explain it.
Well, they've made Hudson's come off and he got stitched up, and Cornelius came to the bench, so Black has to actually take the ruck because Hudson's run to full forward.
And as you'd expect, a nice little tap over the back releases Watson and Heppel. What do you reckon, Jono?
And Longer sitting on the bench as well, so an interchange mix-up big time then from the Brisbane Lions.
They've been caught short, literally, as McGrath from defensive 50 bombs one in the air. Getting across as Cornelius, he marks on centre wing.
Well, someone like he just has to step in. He ran off for a second there. Didn't get back on quick enough.
Patfull takes a strong mark. Good player. Joel Patfull. So about 85 out from home. He sets it up, looking for Brown. At the back, coming across is the great man himself, Fletcher. He read that, Dermot, off the boot. 5 metres better than anyone else.
Once it leaves the boot, the ball can't change course.
Zaharakis has a paddock ahead of him. Got runners feeding for him. He heads out wide. Hanley right with Davey. Clipped his heel a little. Davey keeps it alive. Splendid to watch, that is. Handball just as good. The hockey had to go back and get it. Zaharakis thought about going for goal. Goes the percentage. Crammery will line up from 20 out. And this will be for number 3.
Well, the Davey handball was smart because he had players coming at him, but it was just too short a kick and too dangerous a kick to a 50-50. Decided to change it up with hands. Zaharakis' work rate from defensive 50 to forward of centre was outstanding, and he was able to set up a nice kick to Crammery.
25. That was never in doubt. It's out to a 31-point margin.
We have a look in the centre of the ground here now. Right in the centre, Jonathan Brown's called them in together, Brisbane, and he's actually said that doesn't happen again. We have to have a ruckman in here, boys. I'm sorry, but somebody's got to take onus. Had a little powwow in there. I know it didn't affect that goal, but they were lucky to get away with it. You pray for one thing as a ruckman, it is that to happen.
So the Bombers out to their equal game-high lead of 31 points. We saw the young Irishman, for the second week in a row, run past the ball. Just that little bit. They do that sometimes, the Gaelic players coming into the Australian rules. They panic about the boundary line. Don't realise you can take it to the boundary line in that situation if you can control it and keep it in front of you.
He was
naturally
naturally
let the ball get past them.
He was naturally playing the ball sport, not the nuances of our game.
That's it. And it happened last week in the wet to him, and today it's happened again. Anyway, forward it goes. You'll learn from that. Good play by Hocking. Knocked it forward. Black gets it out. Now a chance. They've got to have a go here. Harwood around the body. Sets it up in here. Didn't get enough of it. Touch ball. And Fletcher just lets it go to the boundary line for a throw in.
Please, can I have another go, Mr. Harwood?
Harwood back into the team this week. Longer. Another inclusion of Polkinghorne. The 3 changes for the Brisbane Lions.
It's academic, Derm.
Very nice. A little bit of retro from Dermot and Eddie. Melksham pumps that to the wing. Bell Chambers stands under it. Oh, big fly Merritt. Couldn't bring it down, but crumbed his own ball nicely. Chip kick to Golby is good. Lions have got players feeding for them long. Jonathan Brown, one of them.
He's done it. He's got it.
Gets there. Brilliant mark. Too far out to score.
That's the kind of bloke you want to be leading to as well.
Essendon players filling the holes. They didn't fill that one. So he kicks to about 45 from goal. And Crisp can have a crack.
Jono.
At his first goal in AFL footy, Jack Crisp. He had a couple of shots last week and sprayed them through nerves. So a big moment for him.
Jono, just quickly before Dwayne calls this kick. The great thing there with Jonathan Brown, didn't panic. 1, 2, 3 options till the right one came. Let Dwayne call a goal.
Game 3. Keeps it low, got close to the man on the mark. It was a nervous kick, but he gets his first goal in AFL footy. Jack Crisp, one of the best names in the game going around right now. Hopefully he'll have a long career.
Yeah,
Sorry, Jono.
You'll love calling that Dwayne, and he did toe that a little bit, Chris, but he did make the distance. And this is what Eddie's speaking about here, Jonathan Brown. He actually had Daniel Rich cut into an angle there, we see at the left of screen. He could have used that as a short, held onto it. You see Chris coming through the middle, defender zoned off, and that's the experience of the captain, just good control of the ball going forward.
Gee, that replay bit of footage when he led to that ball, Chris, Melksham took it easy on the back of him chasing the lead. He'll get a rocket at quarter time. I know they hold a lead, but that's all right against teams who are placed 14th, 15th, but do that against anyone around your mark, that could cost the game.
3 games to Jack Crisp. Jules getting no respect. He'll get some now. Melksham owes, and he goes forward and he kicks an absolute beauty up towards Davey. Great defensive play by Hanley. The Irishman won that contest. Over the line, throw in.
Let's have a look at this again. Now watch the separation coming right up the middle here. Now look, Melksham's walked away from him. Now look at the chase on the lead. Now he's saying, oh, gee, I wish it didn't go to him. Never did he really dig in and say, I've got to get to it.
Harwood searching for the ball. Could have been grabbed without it. Oh, that's a bit high. Umpire says throw it in. All right. Split the difference there. Jack Crisp. Good name, isn't it? Good old Aussie name, that one. Jack Crisp. We need a few Rosses and Trevors back in the game, I reckon.
There's no Bruces.
No, we've got a Job, though. And there he was. And it comes to Angus. Monfries. Zaharakis kicks it to the hot spot. All up. Here we go. Lonergan lurking. Free kick. Cremery's got it for goal number 4 from point blank range. Oh, you love it going to that spot, don't you, boys?
You do love it going there, but the frustration is with the Lions. 4 Lions players around Cremery on that occasion, Derm, and they create a free kick and an easy set shot at goal.
Cremery comes in. Kicks his 4th goal of the game. He's going to be on Fred Fanning pace at the moment.
Yeah. The thing is, the knowledge of what Cremery can do, the 2 arms around the waist, the knowledge of what he can do, in your mind's eye, can you remember Cremery jumping off the ground and taking a high mark? He's a push and shove, big-bodied, step to where the drop of the ball is after bodying out a single opponent and mark it, or on the lead. It's just saying he needs to add to his game high marking. So if you've got 3 support players around you, no need to ground him and hold it. They can come over the top.
Well, I'm tipping Daniel Merritt will be spewing that Michael Voss sent him back this week and didn't play him up forward.
Gee, they're losing a few soldiers here for a couple of minutes.
Simon Black being sent from the field.
Chin.
So he will come off, and they can't afford to have experienced guys like Simon Black heading to the bench. James Hird on the bench. Michael Voss and James Hird, 2 guys who were superstars as players and forever linked after winning the 1996 Brownlow medals together.
Blackie, will they get a stitch or a staple?
Don't usually do them on the bench. They often go downstairs to do the stitches and the staples.
Yeah, staple him up first.
To Adcock. Floats it wide. Long is out there. Couldn't make the ground to get there. Rockcliffe got there first, and then Stanton towed it away. Patfull maybe caught a little high. Rockcliffe over it. Watson, the steal. Fletcher. Half forward. It's punched away, but the Bombers have the numbers again. Monfries feeds it back. Stanton left it behind. Cornelius made it tough for Rockcliffe.
And it's an extra possession that didn't need to go. Had he swung and kicked, he had a player on.
He's the man to give it to. 34 possessions and 37 possessions in the last 2 games that he's played, Rockcliffe. Best and fairest last year. He can go, and they need him to fire. And he gets this handball up right on cue to Redden, Golby, Crisp, to half forward, but it's wide. Longer with Fletcher, and we'll get a ball in.
John ain't the most recent amongst us to have played. Is that the procedure now? Do they put a staple in first downstairs and then you stitch up during the week, take the staple out, or do you just leave it in for
leave the staples in for a week, play next week, and then take them out?
Jeez, imagine if they had staples in your day, Derm. You would have gone to the Metro with them all in. Get the sympathy vote. The ball kicks forward here. This could bounce through for a goal. It is. It's a goal to the Brisbane Lions. Merritt, I think, got it out. That was Big Hudson who kicked it. The big redhead's working well. He's come on. He's got the bandages. Have a look at this. He's got this all of about 80 metres. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Beats him. Bounce, straightens up and goes through for a goal. Well done. Look at the ball drop. That
turned 3 times between hand and foot. It's extraordinary.
I like the better setup with Longer deep, Hudson in the ruck. I think Patfull's one that they may need to drag back just to create that defensive pressure that he's certainly well known for.
3 minutes to quarter time. We said they needed a break. They got 4 as that ball rolled along the ground there to get that goal. Bell Chambers palms down. Lonergan going nowhere. Black in the thick of it. Jonathan Brown quick in off the square, got one for high.
Now you look at this as we draw away. Essendon already had it when that ball was in deep contention.
50.
Yeah, he's going to get a 50.
He took an enormous amount of time, Joe Watson.
Yeah, he wanted to try and buy time for his defenders. But what I was about to explain, they already had 2 extras behind play.
Rockcliffe hassling them, the umpire telling them to split up.
You'd hassle him after the goal is kicked, not beforehand.
Well, this is for 2 within 30 seconds. And to get their way back into the game. Massive kick this. And the surge has begun. In the shadows of quarter time, Lions get their 4th. Won't be happy with that, the leader, Joe Watson. Here it is again. Joe thought it was his ball for holding the ball.
And Brown's hand did go up on his shoulder, so he probably thought the high call was his way. But then arguing with the umpire, not giving the ball straight back to Jonathan Brown.
Was it an argue or was it a genuine question?
Just a genuine question, but held onto the ball for too long.
Well, in a game where physical contact and courage is required, the softest of goals from a 50-metre to the captain, Jonathan Brown, gives the Brisbane Lions back-to-back goals. He'll be angry. Joe Watson, he'll get it out now to Heppel. Bombers by 19 points, having got out to 31-point lead just 4 minutes ago. Uruguay goes at Merritt all over the back. Free kick going to Ryder.
Just notice the way Big Sauce tried to spoil that. He tried to come circumnavigate the body and come around and spoil with the left hand. A big body spoil and go for the ball, crunch the back of Ryder and move him under the ball. Probably is a better mode, but you know what? It's his first time back for 7 weeks.
Merritt kicks to the forward 50. Still time. 2 minutes to go in this quarter for the Bombers to get one back. Intentional, was it? Deliberate? No, says the umpire. Throw it in.
You have the right to knock the ball away from your opponent.
Under pressure, as the umpire said. Good call.
And if it is a disguise, yeah, not a great disguise.
It's like Maxwell Smart's disguise, that one, dude. Zaharakis, big bomb up towards full forward. Good play by Maguire, punched it away off the fall of the ball there. There he is, Big Merritt, gets it working nicely. Rich, little step pass is a good one. Oh, it's dropped though, Cornelius. He's dropped a couple of chest marks. He's taken them well up above his head. Fought in hard, but he's given it up again. Lonergan, another high up and under. Good luck trying to mark that one. Up goes Hudson, off the hands of the pack. It ricochets dangerously. Brown is there. He'll go through and get the ball. The sea just parted for him. And it goes down towards Pollock. Picked up by Davey for Essendon. He chips it backwards. Nice play to centre wing. And the Bombers can have one last thrust.
Hooker. A minute left. Fletcher. Dempsey. Another player back into the lineup for the Bombers this week. Heads wide. Stanton just setting it up for the last roll of the dice. Carlisle, Stanton, and now to the top of the square. Kramer couldn't get the jump. Ball clean bowled a couple of them, McGrath and Lovett Murray, and with 47 seconds left on the clock, a ball in. 19 points the margin. Flick down. Rockcliffe kick smothered. Still a dangerous spot for the Lions. That was a little high, that attempt at the ball. You heard the explanation from the umpire. Both players trying to pick up the ball. Bombers by 19.
So 36 seconds to go. Can the Bombers get one back? Bell Chambers did it beautifully. Zaharakis had more time than he thought. Needed to straighten a bit.
That's as good a tap out as you'll see in league footy. To the outside of the pack and perfectly directed. It wasn't a blind hit. That was called to that position and it was delivered on a plate.
So Adcock needs to hit one of his boys here. He's going to go long instead. So the Bombers have still another chance here to get a goal deep in this first quarter. Off hands Fletcher puts the toe out. Another chance here. They're running left, right and centre. Opened up beautifully there. Here it comes to Dyson, and there's the goal. There it is. You could see it from a mile away coming. Adcock had to hit a target, run the clock down. All he had to do was find a man, and that was game over for the quarter. But the Bombers have got the one they needed to go back to a 26-point lead.
Well, the spoil back
That's
to where
one.
the ball came from was just as important as the Dustin Fletcher toe poke on it to get it forward. Good execution at the end as well.
Good play by Ryder. Got the ball, held it up, found the opening. David King, you've got an interesting stat on that as we see the Vossi absolutely furious, and I know why, because you're about to tell us.
Well, scores from turnovers is the modern game, Eddie, as you know. It's 6 goals to 2 at the minute, and that's been the Bombers' mode of operandi all year. Their new structures, their harassment's been absolutely first class. They are on today.
One of those 2 goals is counted as a 50-metre penalty as well.
10 seconds left. Black gets a clearance to half forward, but Hooker stands in the hole. You doubt there'd be time for a long kick forward. Hardingham holds it up. Quarter time at Etihad Stadium. It's a wet day outside here in Melbourne. This is not your real Melbourne winter Saturday afternoon under the roof here. Perfect conditions for football inside Etihad Stadium, and the Bombers have used the conditions to their advantage. An 8-goal opening term, 8-3-51 to the Bombers for the Brisbane Lions. 4-1-25. Essendon lead by 26 points at the first change. Crammery has 4.
As well, mate. Fantastic.
Oh, they are too. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, we saw Colonel Custer there, Daniel Ridge.
Second term underway here at Etihad Stadium. Hot first term from the Bombers. 8-3 plays 4-1. And the umpire recalls it. And from the ball up, the flick down, perfection. Hocking inside 50. Davey was there, knocked it down to Stanton. Has a flying shot, gives it a wild ride. But he didn't bend it around enough. Brent Stanton, another outstanding season, averaging 26 possessions a game again this year after second in the best and fairest last year. Only lost a 1 game this year, the Bombers.
Who against?
Behind to Collingwood, need you ask. Rubbed it in twice in a row in the last minute.
That was over the line too. That should have been a ball up from the kick out.
Watson couldn't trap it. Heppel was enjoying his afternoon at the office. Lovett Murray pushed out of it. Polkinghorn, kick grab by Carlisle, pumps it back to the hot spot. Bell Chambers up. Crushed that, got his own crumb. Tried to give it to Davey. Flicks it out to Jetta, poked away from him. Lovett Murray tucked into the boundary line. Heppel caught by Banfield, dragged down. No free reward. And the ball fumbled across the boundary line in the end from Jake Carlisle. Would get a ball in outside 50 for the Bombers.
That position, oh, good spot, Ed. Well done. That position, Carlisle almost had 2 possessions in 1 minute because he sits just off the ball. And Heppel had 10 uncontested possessions on the back flank, all in the midfield from just sitting off the back of the pack. If we watch the way Essendon set up, see Lovett Murray on the right-hand side of the screen? Essendon put a quarterback-style player 5 to 10 metres back from the ball, and that's the damaging play when they win first possession.
So he's there to come in and smother. Couldn't quite get there from Rich's kick. And it's an interesting play, that one, Dim. We'll keep an eye on that because it's resulted in a couple of goals already to the Bombers. Rich out the back, tries to get it going. Good tackle by Watson. Another good tackle by Watson. Another good tackle by Watson. Great play. And he holds it up, the skipper.
And the main reason why that's the case is because the conditions here today, it's like a wet weather game, even though we're playing under the roof at the moment because of the pre-game rain getting on the venue. And it's allowing that player to sit off without any fear of the ball changing direction.
So even Heppel there, we saw on screen, he will allow his man to go first to the ball and he'll sweep away from him.
And there's the man, Lovett Murray, who kicks it forward again. Up goes Crammery. It's Bell Chambers it was, off the hands of the pack. Chance now for Maguire to kick it out of 50. Out goes Stanton. Good play, kept the ball in Bomber danger territory. There he is again, he's loose. Somebody's going to have to pick him up. Luckily, he's not punishing with his kick, Lovett Murray. Rich Beautiful handball to Brown, and now it's a chance for the Brisbane Lions.
McGrath straight down the middle. He stepped around them, pumps it long, puts it over the head of Longer. Fletcher, 252 games against 2 games there. Billy Longer, Dustin Fletcher. And as you'd expect, Fletcher wins out to Hardingham on the run. Away from Patfield, got a kick. Monfries, he'll want to pounce up. They've got open space ahead. Doesn't get the chance to. Good crowd in here at Etihad Stadium. Bomber fans have turned out in force. McGrath, half-back. Maguire, Adcock, McGrath, Brown, Harwood, Pollock. Bombers with the numbers here. Carlisle used the body. Couldn't bring the mark down. Cornelius caught by Heppel. Manufactured something that looked like a kind of a handball. Longer stolen back by Lovett Murray. Hardingham. He took that tackle. Allowed it to come at him. And still a chance for Pollock. Rolls it towards goal. And Fletcher, well, the goalkeeper, last line of defence, takes them on to Dempsey and they're away.
So Dempsey with the long kick out. Derm, it'll be interesting to see. Longer's gone into the forward line for the Brisbane Lions. Vossi is trying to get him to be a ruckman forward, so part of the teaching process early in his career, and also to try and make Fletcher accountable.
He's a little bit lost to actually do that to Fletcher at the moment. He's out of his
Chambers. Bell Chambers is really developing, and that was a beautiful mark at full stretch.
Well, in this period of their development, you can take some pain and say you're developing the play. Yeah, that's what he's doing with him. But at the moment, he's been beaten in that regard. We see when he ran back then, Longer, he needed to then break at right angles. We kept running back, and Fletcher was only ever going to beat him back to the ball, which he did.
Ball up high was Jetta, through for a point to Bell Chambers, who's in his 31st game, 202 centimetres, doing 104 kilos. He's come in for Hill, and he's starting to grow in the responsibility.
So, somebody who I know follows him on Twitter, he said, he tweeted during the week, or his Facebook status, he believes he's the Essendon #1 ruckman now, which is actually a really good thing. If he wants to believe it and is ready to grasp it emotionally as well, good on him.
And tell the world via Twitter. Yeah. Even better.
Forces him to actually back it up.
Technically, it's right this week. David Hill out of the lineup. No Hurley, of course. The Bombers have got a few out. Hibbert, Myers.
Oh, clever.
Winderlick also out, so the Bombers not at full strength. Hooker rolls that, tried to get it to half forward. Black.
A good body by Lonergan.
Monfries. Lonergan again with some strength. Hands it up to Melksham. They can smell more blood. Bell Chambers. Merritt got a hand in the way. It's his forte. Crisp. Needs to be. And he is with this kick to Redden. Half-back flank. The Lions again under siege. 28 points down early in this second.
They are, but at least they're on the front foot when Essendon got the ball, closing their space up, really getting on the front foot, not sitting back on the heels trying to goal keep.
Black and Rich and Lester, and forward it goes. Patfull has got it. Another shot at goal from here. Big bomb. Now Brown's run 50 metres to get there. That was fantastic because Brown was at half forward flank as the ball went up the middle. And he'll line up from 3 metres out on the angle.
The one critical possession again, the half-forward possession. That was the real dicey competition ball that Patfield jumped early, played well, still was spoiled, but he had the better recovery.
And it was also good to see Black and Rich, a couple of guys with good skills.
Well, Rich is the one playing behind the ball for Brisbane Lions. He has to be utilising those skills if he's a loose man in defence.
Come back a long way here, Brownie, for a 3-metre kick.
Pretty simple shot.
Umpire says all clear. He gets his second. Rodney Eade has been watching the matchups today. Rodney.
Thanks, Ed. Yes, that I think with Stuart Grammery's great start that Vossi's put Moose Maguire onto him at the moment. Merritt has taken the ruckman. Hockey's gone on to Simon Black, who started on the bench, and that Daniel Rich, who started in the midfield and was with Lonergan as last few bounces to start as spare man in defence.
And on cue, because of that, he steps into the centre just but he has gone back, yeah, but for the last few, trying to free him up and get his skills coming out defensive end. So he'll try and lose that that press he's got on him now, he'll go into the back line again within about 3 minutes.
Watson got it from Zaharakis just as the Lions thought they were going to get the takeaway, and will get a secondary ball up. 53-31, 22-point margin. Not the biggest of the game, though. Lions hanging in there. Bell Chambers. Zaharakis. Golby wraps him up. Umpires today: Brett Roseberry, Gary Feeler, Stephen Grun. A good job so far.
And here's the recipe for success, Dwayne. Contest attack, defend, Essendon just in front in the 3 facets of the game.
Watson pumps it inside 50. Paddy Ryder, pocket. He kept it alive. Good bouncing ball. Almost rolled through. Clean bowled Hanley. And luckily for Hanley, it hit the post.
Had to go low. Had to really go low at it, Hanley.
Polkinghorn at half-back flank. Boy from Strathmore, would have grown up in the shadows of Windy Hill. Kick along the boundary line, over the line, out of bounds, throw in.
Had to go. You watch, he stays upright and erect. He has to get low.
Just hit the knee of Hanley going through, so it would have been a rush behind. Throw in. Off hands. Watson trying to find it there, just with his shins. Melksham, head over the ball, tries to crash through, does, gets it out. Lonigan's been great. There's Watson again, opening it up. Chance for the Bombers through Howlett. Just bombs it long, out to the wide open spaces. Out they come. Cremery has first go at it. Borks does it beautifully. Opens it up over the top. Monfries under pressure. Little chip kick is a beauty. No 15. Play on, says the umpire. Paddy Ryder's got it. Left foot kick inboard. Lonigan. No one will go near this man. And he will line up from 35 metres out directly in front.
Well, Cremery coming up with the contest, and that was the half-forward position we've been on about, Derm, especially yourself in the first half of this game so far. This one here, the important possession, able to turn Maguire inside out. Handball over the top. Monfries with some composure there. Nice kick. Ryder heard the play on call, but Lonigan with the ball at the moment, he's been outstanding. His composure around the stoppage is absolutely first class.
So Sam Lonigan has had an interesting couple of weeks, and that's how you answer your critics. On the football ground with a beautiful goal and hard running. So Vossi's there. Simon Black. Some of the greats. And Jonathan Brown. Dermot Brereton's going to give us his top 5 Brisbane Lions of all time at half-time.
Bad luck, Ed. You didn't play for him.
I was on the receiving end of him a few times.
Yeah. Sam Lonigan too. I mean, drafted late 2004. Played his first game 2005. Went through to the 50s. A lot of people reckon he should have been 20s, 30s.
Looking forward to that.
Any surprises, Derm, in your top 5?
A couple.
I've had a look. There is one absolute shock.
What, the bloke who I didn't pick at number 1?
I hope our man Elsa Lynch is among your top 5.
Has to be.
Yeah, has to be. Absolutely. Redden.
Very
Sign
good
a
player,
10-year
Lynch.
deal.
Rockcliffe just bumped.
He was ill for most of that time.
Black gets the handball up. Umpire says it was a throw. Free kick to Lonigan. He's having an outstanding day at the office.
Let him run on the footy, guys.
Sam Lonigan.
Yeah, as I said, Dwayne, I was on the board at Hawthorn looking at
That wasn't a throw either, by the way. That was a handball.
at that stage, and we viewed Lonigan to go in the 20s. He slipped through to 50-something. He's a bargain pickup for Essendon.
He was a clearance specialist as a king as well. That's a kid as well. He gets this one on cue. It was his forte in junior football at the stoppages, and he has been a bargain pick. As Eddie said, he's had a horror couple of weeks. The Twitter escapades, but
He was on the hanger the other night, and I thought he handled it magnificently.
He
Dwayne,
did.
did you see that
Excellent.
interview?
I
Just
did.
took it really well.
Stanton pumps it long inside 50. Cramery's down there. He's already got 4 for the record. Maguire goes to ground, looked for the boundary, didn't get it. Howlett ducks out of the tackle, tries to get a handball up. Cramery tucked into the pocket, centering kick. Ryder got up but couldn't bring it down. Hits the deck. They've got the numbers. Melksham forward pocket unselfishly. Love it, Murray. It doesn't get any better than that.
That was great play, Dan, because I reckon it was 3 or 4 Essendon players who were directing the play rather than just going headlong into a contest, and they opened it up. That was great structural play.
There's a difference too between barracking and talking. Talking is when you say the man's on in the middle, he's clear, look over your shoulder. That's directing, as you called it, your teammate to make the right decision. Come on, Essendon is barracking.
But a hamstring and a calf during pre-season. Back into the team this week and spears that through. 35-point margin.
Well, the direction certainly started with Howlett as he was going for the football, with Crameri trailing in.
Had to stick this tackle, though. Oh, sorry, the one before that. And it slipped out.
The one on
there
Howlett from Adcock, had to stick that one. Wouldn't have caused this, but great vision from Melsham. Attack the contest hard, loose ball. Fantastic kick.
So back in the centre of the ground, and I think it started with Howlett, who was telling Crameri, get to the spot, stay out, and then he beat 3 players, had a bit of a fumble, got his hands on the ball and willed it to Crameri to open it up in the first place. And again, Melksham just held his composure. So the Bombers are at a game-high 35-point lead. It's picked up again by that man. He is on fire today, no doubt about that, in Lonigan. Ball goes forward. He's having a day out. In goes Monfries, knocks it out. Melksham over the top, hard at the ball. That's the way the Bombers want to play their football. Crisp for the Brisbane Lions, kicks it out wide. Wobbling over for the ball was Hooker. Brown gets the front spot, twists and turns and round, kicks it high in air, hoping for something, getting back and reading the play as always, and with sure hands, one hand to the other at full pace. Was beautiful play by Fletcher. Free kick downfield, so Dempsey's got it on defensive 70. He goes for the kick up the wing, and it's a beauty. Hits his teammate on the chest. Watson looks inside. He sees Heppel in the middle of the ground. That was a beautiful kick. Heppel's got plenty of time, plenty of space, and looks up and sees Monfries and hits him. Wants to give it off to Heppel. Now he comes inside, decides to go long. Crameri's the man. Ryder's there as well. Off the hands. Davey! Front and square. Great roving. Ryder. Davey. Goal.
He's exciting, isn't he?
How good was that?
He slingshots into the right spot sometimes.
Well, you talk about structures and playing your role within the side. Davey plays his role perfectly here. Gets to the feet of Ryder. We see him in screen there. Was looking for a bit of a lead. Realised the ball coming in long. And look at him step back to get front and square and take control of that contest. Outstanding.
Well, we're talking about structural positions. There's no lead on, so your dump out option is to the goal square, and it works occasionally.
One of the big problems at the moment, boys, is a clearance situation. They've won 7 of the last 8 clearances, the Bombers, and all 3 centre clearances in this second term. This is the problem.
Yeah, it's shaping as an 80-point plus margin.
Harwood to half forward. Cornelius. New Brown was there, couldn't hit him with the handball. Dempsey ducks out of the tackle, but kind of ducked into it in the end. And too high against Stanton. Jonathan Brown's ball. Play on advantage. Everyone stopped. Pollock took the advantage and nails the goal against the run of play.
They're able to get numbers to the contest, the Lions, and work their way quite smartly through it. Pollock took the advantage when Jonathan Brown received the free kick. But it was this stage of the first quarter where the Lions were able to get a couple in a row and get right back into the contest. They got one there. Speak of clearances, they need this centre bounce clearance right now. Get the ball in long and dangerous to Jonathan Brown, who's moving quite well today. So it comes down to Hudson and the midfielders in tight to win it.
So the margin back to 35 points. Pollock gets his second for the day. The advantage paid for the Brown free kick.
You know, in the last 5 entries into forward 50, that's the one that has been a scrounging 50-50 chance for the opposition. The last 5 before it benefited the Essendon defenders.
Yeah, they went in and straight out again. This time it's Lovett Murray who just bangs it on the boot up to centre forward. Sometimes that's good enough. Coming through hard for the Bombers is Jenner. Gets it out wide to Ryder. Ryder just finds a bit of space to get onto the right foot. That was beautiful play. Opened it up and Stanton's got it. 55 out. He kicks it to the spot. Up goes. Oh, Monfries flew a mile. In the back, says the umpire. Was he pushed?
He's been penalised for an early leap it.
He didn't interfere with anyone.
He didn't touch anyone.
Let it jump up and down as much as you like. You can do the Macarena, can't you, if you want to?
Did he make contact with anyone?
His own teammate.
I thought he was going to get a free kick for being tunnelled. Billy Longer. Can't grab it. Hardingham does. Dyson. Carlisle. Back to Dyson. Runs away from Banfield with an arrogant bounce. Stanton feeds it back. Carlisle again. Just playing with them. It's been good, Jake Carlisle. Hit 24 in the Tom Scully draft, and he's holding his own against all the players in that draft. Merritt flies. Can't take the mark. Forced to lay a tackle, and Howlett didn't have it. So Howlett's ball 60 from goal. Gets it on quickly. Stanton look for the short pass option. Ricochets back to him. Rides the Golby tackle. And Melksham takes it to the line, and we've had a couple of minutes that won't go in the time capsule. 35 points the margin.
We know why Big Sauce Merritt spoils so much. He was a little bit Roberto Duran when he went for that mark.
What, hands of stone, mate?
Yes.
Picked up by Lovett Murray. No more.
No, I've had enough. No, not the I've had enough.
Oh,
but
okay.
They hit he got to the right spot. His hands were clear of the marking player in front of him. He got clean skin on it, but it just came off like they were made of stone.
It looks like he's been fighting Tommy Hearns today too. So McGrath's got it. Goes for the long kick outside the 50. Patfull's the man who has to fly. Gets underneath it. Did that a couple of times in warm-up. I was watching him down before the game. I'll come back on that in a moment because Hetmore is stepping everybody. And then on the left boot goes for the long shot. It won't quite curve back enough. Almost the mark to Lonigan. To Cremery, rather. It's through for a rush behind. I was watching him in warm-up, and it was only a couple of times, but it was only, they were kicking floaters. I just wondered whether he's got eye issues because he was getting underneath it. I might be making more of it.
And flat-handing him.
Yeah, but just getting underneath
Double grabbing him. Yeah.
Pollock told to go. Hugs the outer side. Made it tough for Jonathan Brown. Made it impossible.
That was clever. Brownie recognised he was going to get bump-balled on that one, and rather than dive for it and accept the half volley, get gobbled up on the tackle, puts the two fists out and punches it over the line, disguises a boundary line throw, and rather than get caught in possession.
Melksham hacks it forward. Golby got there before Jetta. Bounced to Adcock. Crisp. Patfull his target. Straight through his hands.
Okay.
Hardingham. Just overran it. Harwood collects, and it opens up for the Lions. Long inside 50 from Hanley. Almost longer. He does collect in his second game. Spins out of a bind. Handed it off to Rich. Crowd wanted ball. Rich hammers toward goal and misses.
One thing that's really noticeable down here at ground level is how quick the Bombers are onto the lines every time they get an uncontested or a free possession. I think the gap between how quick they do it and how quick the Lions do it is vast.
The skipper Watson does it beautifully. Heppel's kick was magnificent.
They're already 40-something possessions, Kingy, uncontested possessions ahead. So winning more of it contested and using it better.
Like Montford's kick was a beauty. Lonigan, Cremery rather, just dropped what he should have taken. But they've got plenty of time.
That's a duck. That's a duck.
Yeah. Got the free kick. He fell over. Should have been holding the ball.
Are they going to change that rule? Do you think the interpretation, if you cause it?
They have to. If you are the one who initiates the contact above your shoulder by your actions, you've got to suffer the consequence.
We wait long enough, we'll go back to all the old rules again. As it comes into the forward line. That's what it was when you grew up, wasn't it, Dwayne? As the ball comes off to Brown from Rich. Redden mucking around. Brown back to Rich. They haven't gone anywhere, and Rich is gone. That was horrible play. Janet plays on over to Davey. Davey, open goal. Around the body he goes and punishes Brisbane with the most emphatic way.
And get to Dempsey. Get to Dempsey. That was his goal, no doubt. Chased 4 times to crack the tackle. Ball was going over his head left and right. Didn't give up the chase. And that is the reason why Essendon were able to score another fantastic goal.
Just to answer your question, Ed, I think the difference is sometimes if you duck your head, it's always been you ducked your head, you caused the high contact.
Yeah.
But players drop to their knees now. They keep their torso and their head upright, but they drop at their knees and draw the high contact that way. Now, is that you're doing or the opposition's doing?
Look at this, Davey kicking his second goal for the Bombers.
Gee, Daniel Rich, he's got really good awareness, Daniel Rich, but On that occasion, any awareness he had just escaped him.
Bell Chambers high in the ruck. Black sharks it. Banfield hasn't seen a lot of it. Kick half smothered. Crisp knocks it inside 50. Now Polkinghorne was caught high and it's within range. Doesn't like how close he is. Finds Redden. Played 23 minutes in this second term.
He's a beauty, this kid.
Had 26 possessions a couple of weeks ago. 23 of them were handballs, so he wasn't in a kicking mood a couple of weeks ago. He is more a handballer when he can get on the ball on the run. Likes to set it up rather than finish it off, but he really needs to finish this one himself. Pull this margin back under 40 points.
It's like staying over a pup for a long time, huh?
And he yelled 4 as he kicked it. It's off the green.
He had the ball in hand a long time and a long, slow, ambling walk.
No momentum into that kick, was there, Dirk?
No, sometimes you can think too much about it.
Dyson switches play. Stanton hugs the boundary line. Hardingham brings it back to Fletcher. Now Fletcher quickly over the top. They're opening him up. Look at this. You can see in the distance. Heppel looks up, kicks and finds his teammate in Howlett, who's been a good player today. Kick is a good one. Skids through. Nice play. Melksham steps his opponent Rich. Kicks it forward. Cranberry's got position 1A here. Up he goes. It was Watson, in fact. Now it's picked up by Cranberry at the fall of the ball. He's grabbed. He's gone. Took all day and gets slung tackle there. Look at that one, boys. We might have a replay. Now chance for Maguire to clear for the Brisbane Lions.
To half forward. Polkinghorne's down there. Used his body on his opposite 31 well. And we'll get a ball in. Here's the replay of the sling. It was virtually ball.
Oh, he cleaned him off the ground. Watch, he lifts him upright. Gets him up in the air.
Yeah.
Well, that's a deliberate action. If he stays down, if he decides to stay down,
Brown,
he's in trouble.
Gee, back with the flight, Jonathan Brown. That's his trademark. Couldn't mark that. Black threads his way through some traffic. Had to dish it off. Rockcliffe, not a lot of room to work with. Stanton collects it. He turns it over. Crisp throws the handball out to McGrath. Kicked many a goal in his time. Can't kick this one.
He's actually been all right, Chris. He's shown little signs. What's he in his third or fourth game? And he's actually got thereabouts. I know he hasn't been completely and utterly responsible for his opponent, but he's not the Lone Ranger out there. He's learning his way.
He was a Ranger. He was a Murray Bush Ranger, best and fairest, so he actually can play a bit.
Picked 40 in the 2011 rookie draft.
He might be one who drops the knee, lowers the knees then and keeps the body upright, because a lot of the Murray Bush Ranger boys have that
technique.
To
do that, do they?
Well, everyone who's very high in that stat has come
the Bush Rangers.
Comes through the Bush Rangers. Now, somebody at the Bush Rangers will be dialing my number right at the moment saying we don't teach it. Well, it might just be coincidence, but a lot of those boys are very high.
Should be teaching it. Pays off at the moment. Dyson off half-back. The Bombers lead by 40 points. Lovett Murray is getting more and more into this game. And McGrath says, I didn't touch it. And the umpire didn't fall for it. Good play. So Lovett Murray comes in. As Dwayne said, has had his injury issues this year. Bell Chambers, that's a free kick. That's one on. Yep. Umpire calls it back, no advantage. And Tom Bell Chambers, well, you can Twitter as much as you like, Dern, but if you want to really put your hand up to say the #1 ruckman, that's the sort of mark that you have to take or draw that free kick, and he's done it well today.
Get the job done, and he's doing it.
Hooker has kicked 5 goals for in his 53 games of football. And in he comes. He kicks, and he's hooked that one. The unhappy hooker.
Well, unlike Redden, he took no time over that. Straight back, straight in.
Well, that's the difference. Somewhere in between the two.
Yes.
And you look at it, exhale, walk in, get into a trot.
90 seconds from half-time. Cornelius attacks that, left it behind. Hardingham stayed down for a change. Cranberry leaps, couldn't mark it. Hanley couldn't collect it either on the half volley. Jetta pounces. Lovett Murray over his shoulder. Untidy. Polkinghorne dragged down by Ryder. And he had it, and he didn't dispose of it legally. Umpire lets the game go. Lonergan loses it to Black. We're down to a minute.
That ain't a great handball from Blackie, given that Essendon play one out the back.
Heppel to hooker. Floats this long. Ryder won't get near it. Maguire saving mark. But can they hold it for 50 seconds?
He's had a really good second quarter, Maguire, because he plays body on body against Crameri and does it pretty well. Has buffeted him in the contest, whereas Merritt was trying to take a step back, run up and punch. He's been a much better key backman in the second quarter.
Harwood just 15 metres. Rockcliffe needs to hit a target and does. 25 seconds. Rich. Chance here. One last roll of the dice. Now they can be offensive here. Polkinghorne to McGrath. The long spearing kick. It's going to get over the top. It's kicked the goal. He got it. McGrath kicked the goal. Right on the death. It had to be right on the money because those long arms of Fletcher not able to touch it on that occasion.
For my liking, yeah, it's a goal. But if we ever look at this replay again, watch Jonathan Brown. And now this is touch and go. There's only probably 6 to 12 inches for Fletcher's hand. See, Jonathan Brown had Fletcher. He led up the ground. Now he's celebrated because he's a team man. He wants best for the team. Brown on this side on angle, you'll see, well, maybe not this one, the one from back here on the side of the ground, you'll see that Jonathan Brown has done Fletcher, come away from him, and he would have had a set shot from 30 metres out. Preferably, coaching a forward line, I'd like to see that free kicked on it, the easy mark on the... You never go up in the ruck, mate.
Well, it's Bell Chambers and Hudson in the ruck to start this second half. 35 points the margin. Rich caught high early, so a clearance coming up for the Lions.
Well, the other one was Cooney when he went up against Cox a couple of years ago and won the tap out.
Coxie just took it a fraction easy.
Bill Chambers back to Carlisle. Crameri, 4 goals in the opening term if you've just joined us. To Dyson. Zaharakis lost it for a second. Rich steals, kicks back to attacking 50. Nice pass, crisp. Already has one to his name in this game, but he's got 1 goal, 6 for the year, and that was horrendous out of play on the full.
189 centimetres. He's pretty lean and light on at the moment. Phil Addy probably looking in the next 3 years at adding another 9 or 10 kilos onto that frame.
Fletcher just times it and kicks it 55 metres from the back pocket, the half-back flank, close to the boundary line. That's what Hocking wants. Good play by the Brisbane players there in black, trying to hold him in play. Have a throw-in.
Well, Brisbane need to be super desperate here. They've had 1 shot at goal already, and they need to kick the first 2 in this quarter just to spark this game up and give themselves every chance.
Under the throat.
Polkinghorne did the don't argue. It was too high. As Doom said, the stiff arm was there. Free kick.
Mario Malone special.
Forearm jolt, that one, Doom. Dyson looking for Heppel. Gets to the back of the pack. Goes up. Nearly held the mark. Controls the ball beautifully. Look at that. That is silky play. Great play. Watson twisting and turning. Heppel could get it back. Floating kick forward to Ryder. Jetta at the fall of the ball. Flicks over the top. Crameri's kick 4. He handballs off. Stanton looks to the centre corridor. They're lining up. There's Heppel. He just fell over at the crucial moment. Was always going to get back in the play. Off the ground they go. They're setting up beautifully, though, the Bombers. Howlett inside and, well, he dropped the mark. Crameri handballs off. This time Stanton lines up and misses.
Bit training drillish, that. For 1.5 minutes in, and they could not clear the ball out. Have a look at that. That's after the... Last time I saw a bloke attack the throat like that was Cowboy Bob Orton. With the cast on.
Leicester. Hanley. Tough one to be marking. Heppel was waiting for it. Flicks the handball out in the Hocking direction. Beaten for it by Hudson. Polkinghorne. Crisp. Redden. open forward line, over the head of Longer to Fletcher.
This is frustrating me. The amount of times they've gone inside 50, and every time Fletcher and the rest of the Essendon players play defensive side of the leading target, and Brisbane kick it to the Essendon defenders' advantage.
Fletcher could play till he's 70 if they did that every week with him.
Bell Chambers to stand and long. He's got Jetta in the pocket. He calls his man out, Lonergan, and takes an easy mark. Thinking about playing on quickly. He does. Bends it around the body. You said training drillish. That was as easy as any training goal you've kicked.
Now, Kingy will talks about the errors. The error at the other end. They kicked it to Fletcher's advantage. And I call for these. Watch these. This is the McGrath kick into the second quarter. Who does that advantage? Fletcher. Pollock comes here. Goal side, Carlisle. It advantages him. Brown, he's under a bit of pressure. But see Fletcher playing defensive side. Who's in the advantage there? Each time, with better presence and vision, put it to your own teammates' advantage.
So a game high equaling 42-point margin now. 88 plays 46. Leroy Jetta has a sit down after a nonchalant goal from the pocket, if you don't mind. Bell Chambers doing beautifully over the top of Hudson. They get it out almost. Hudson goes the second time. Howlett going through. Good play. Zaharakis flicks it out. Now they're running. Dempsey. Little chip kick. Look at that. Beautiful play. Over the top of the pack it goes. Looking and lurking around the back was Lonergan. Can't bend it back. Over the line, out of bounds on the full.
That kick is either across the body or over the shoulder. He went across the body rather than... It's actually a different directed kick. He had to go over the shoulder to get it hard back to the centre square.
Yeah, probably need to go top of the square rather than for the goal.
Yep. And a miss hit will actually score.
Crowd made Leicester wait for it. Harwood can't get on the end of that. Harwood back into the team this week. Didn't play against Geelong after being the sub 2 weeks ago against the Gold Coast in the Brisbane Lions win. They've come into this with 2 wins. Essendon with 4 wins. And Essendon just 1 loss for the season so far. A 1-point defeat at Collingwood's hands. And right now they're on track to put some pressure on the teams above them on the ladder. They could even be equal top come the end of this round, the Bombers.
Now, if we have a look again, once again on this bounce down, we see Essendon. Dempsey sits off the back and Heppel sits a further 10 behind him. And he'll come past it soon.
Carlisle stole that from Heppel, who you were hoping would get it. Zaharakis in the pocket. Centering kick, disciplined kick. Melksham might go up. Keeping his feet Lonergan. Waited for Cramry to go and get it. Heppel, stand start. Runs to 49. Hits the goal square. Rockcliffe gets back. Takes the saving mark for the Lions. 42 points, the margin.
Effectively, it's Heppel playing 55 metres from goal without an opponent. But that's seriously dangerous.
Harwood. Nervous. Adcock.
Bit going on down here, Ed, off the ball between Hooker and Jonathan Brown. He's just letting him know who's boss.
I presume you mean Brown.
Don't poke the bear.
Hooker's now separated by 25 metres.
That's good tactics. Around the body they go. They need to build something up here, the Brisbane Lions. They're stagnating. They're getting a lot of possessions amongst themselves and going nowhere. Now they kick up the line, and here it is. Turnover complete. Kingy, you can tell us all about this in a moment, but Cremery, he might have turned it over himself. He has. Hudson now in the corridor. Something to build. They're in the right part of the ground now, the Brisbane Lions. They've just got to move it forward.
Ball user.
Here's the chance now. They want it long to the square. That's where they're going. Brown at the back waiting. But Hooker has the last laugh. Stayed in the corridor while Brown was roaming out to the flanks. Heppel, again the target on the exit. Stanton. Lions want him to kick. That one was a good one, though, to Fletcher. They don't want him to kick because he always hits a target. This time, no exception. Look at that. 50 metres onto the chest of Watson.
Hugs the boundary. Stolen in the end by Adcock. Back into the corridor. 13 goals to 7. Redden. McGrath played on into trouble. And the handball didn't really hit McGuire. Had to mop up that little mess. Redden again. Short. Jonathan Brown on the move. Well played by Hooker, got a fist in. Dempsey with the crumb. Hardingham backtracks. Stanton. Free man out wide is Heppel. Gathering at will. Lovett Murray his target. Up with Maguire. Huge fist out of side. Hanley.
Gee, looked tired chasing that, Hanley. I reckon it's around the 12-minute mark of the third quarter. Fatigue sets in.
Just having a look at Hooker here. He's just chasing Jonathan Brown. I'm not sure whether he's going to have an impact at the Olympics anytime soon, but that technique is outstanding.
I've just got a phone call from Usain Bolt. He wants to study that technique.
Great work by Hooker.
It's ungainly, but I tell you what, it's effective today. He's played well.
He has.
That was a technique of a man who didn't want to get there, Ed, because we saw the build-up. It was pretty physical.
He's just sagging off the back at the moment, Kingy.
I want to remind him, but that's what we saw chasing Buddy that time.
Oh, gee. Stanton has a bounce. Get rid of it, say the Bomber fans. Nice kick forward. Here we go. Lovett Murray over the top. Stanton's been good. Just keeps running. Powerful play to Jetta. Heppel. No one gets on this bloke. He's been clear for the last 2.5 quarters. He chips it inside, looking for Ryder, who couldn't have a fly at it there, so they've got the chance to get it away. Pollock kicks over the top. It's coming back. They've set the wall up nicely again, Dermot. Hooker. Jobe Watson. Dempsey will kick the goal from 55.
Oh, great kick.
Yeah, great call, Eddie. Spot on there with Dempsey running through 50 to kick a long goal, but it was the setup of the Bombers. The kick coming out from the Lions just didn't hit the target of Jonathan Brown, with all the defenders sitting back, and it was an easy goal for Dempsey running through. His comeback from injury has been excellent today. We had a look at half-time at some of Dempsey's efforts, 3 or 4 in one instance, which caused a goal for the Bombers, and now he's got on the scoreboard himself.
Yeah, have a chat on the phone for that. Now, he strikes them pure when he's on the run in a straight line. Strikes them pure. It was really poor play by Brisbane. They got the crumb there. 4 blokes ran side on with the footy. They went to chip kick at 20 metres. They missed the target. They gave it to Essendon. Comes back with interest.
That's the one, Jim, where you love to pick the phone up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You actually make the call, don't you?
Yes.
McGrath hacks one forward. Hooker waiting in the hole. He's playing well. Always have had to go at his running technique. Michael Johnson had that upright running technique.
He
and
did
won a couple of
too.
goals.
He's slightly quicker though.
Yeah, slightly.
He actually ran the 400 in the time.
Stanton flicks it
get
wide.
across the ground there.
Heppel again. Well, he could be on his way to a 3-vote game. Dyson Heppel. Outside 50. They want it up long. Bell Chambers. Merritt flies with Ryder front of the pack. Watson tried to flick it clear. Harwood does, back inside the centre square. Knocked away from Patfull. Lovett Murray had some time to spend it. And blazed away. Maguire might see this to the boundary line.
That's a great
Was
result.
untidy about it, but took it across.
Great result for Essendon. Yep.
Just having a look at the defensive half turnovers. Brisbane Lions have committed 20, which have cost them 5 goals, to Essendon's 9 for 1 goal. That's a difference in the game.
They didn't punish him.
Ryder, Melksham, Zaharakis for the Bombers in there. We're 20 metres out from the Bombers' goal. Oh, be careful there, Goose.
Yes.
Richie just follows up with a half-powered one.
I think he hurt his wrist doing it too. Ball up. Ryder will go over the top. Gets the tap. Lovett Murray off the ground. To centre half forward for the Bombers.
Taking on.
Banfield. Handball. Got the wrong call. Monfries yelled out Banfield. He got it. Now Davey at half forward. Chips inside. Good attack of the ball. Good play from Bell Chambers. Good play by Maguire. McGrath picks it up. Looks up. Not much on. He's going to have to hold it, hold it, hold it. Now he releases. The cavalry arrives. Hudson. Slow, but just goes backwards. Have to go forward eventually, and McGrath does. 1 on 3. Up goes Big John O'Brien. Almost took the mark too. Heppel on hands and knees. Gets the ball forward. Diving in on top of it there was Harwood. Umpire will bounce.
1 on 3 to Jonathan Brown, but no one charging forward. All the Brisbane Lion players, when the ball went in long, was just standing still centre wing. At least 2 of the 3 that were standing there need to get forward and get to the contest.
Had to ride a little palm down against Billy Longer. Finding it hard in game 2 is Billy Longer. Dempsey back to Monfries, to Zaharakis, who got the 3 votes last time these 2 teams met and dominated that game with 4 goals. got a good recent record against the Lions, the Bombers. Handball threads inboard to Dyson and he runs in some space. Pick a target, Jetta will do. He can gather and go. He looks up, he's got options aplenty. Watson's one of them, Crameri the other. Crameri doesn't mark it, Watson was waiting for it. Pounces, goes. That's quality, that's top shelf.
It has a bad smell about it now, this game. It looks like it could get a bit ugly. 12-minute mark of the third quarter when teams are mismatched. 12-minute mark I normally tend to think is when fatigue sets in and you really hurt the team. If you're prepared to put the foot on the throat, from that point on is when you do. It's like scoring in cricket after tea. Most of the runs come after tea. Right about now it's going to get ugly.
3 goals in 13 minutes in this third term. The Bombers have kicked the last 3 and they're out to a game high 54 points. When you kick 100 points term with still 11 minutes basically left in the third term, you know you're on song.
Yeah, that's 100 before tea.
Yep.
And the thing is, when it went forward that time, there was a lot of space to work in, and that means that the opposition, who normally try to get numbers back, are fatigued and they can't get there. It's going to get worse.
Free kick coming back.
Polkinghorne and Hocking were the two. Hocking got reported in 3 games for hitting Polkinghorne last time these two teams met, and I don't think Polkinghorne's forgotten it.
I think Polky takes a backward step. He's got that name which there's been some pretty tough Polkinghorns along the way.
You don't want to go to the tribunal with them either, do you?
No, they're deadly honest.
Zaharakis gets it out. Of course, David Polkinghorne shocked the world when he told the truth at the tribunal, and Wayne the Dominator Johnson got rubbed out at Carlton. As the ball goes forward, Jetta is starting to cut them apart up forward. He is playing the classic small forward role today. Over the top to Zaharakis. Back it goes to Jetta. Put his teammate under a fair bit of pressure. Both of them did in the end. And as a result of that, the turnover's complete.
Funny thing was that, just an adjunct to that, is I could never work out why opposition teams wouldn't call Polkinghorne as a witness against his own players, because he was so honest he would have.
You're thinking too much, Tim. It's a bit like your place kick.
James being the son of Robert, of course.
Played a few at Hawthorn.
Yep.
Golby run down from behind by Lonergan. Just got the kick away in time. Crisp. He's done some good things among the errors.
Now, there is no target moving for him. Jonathan Brown's
50,
90,
so he'll line up at goal, Crisp, for his second goal. He'll have a shot from about 40. Lions get a break. This time last week they hadn't kicked a goal yet, so it's been a better performance this week than last week against Geelong from the Brisbane Lions, but they're still being comprehensively outplayed by one of the better teams in the comp.
By rule of thumb, look how far he is outside the 50-metre line. Now, the man on the mark is exactly halfway between the 50-metre line and the goal, so that's 25. I guarantee you he was further than 25 out.
75-metre free pass, that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Jack Crisp kicks it second.
They need some feel-good about him, John. They need to actually have an excitement factor why they need to keep going here. But having said that, a lot of park footballers say, geez, I'd be excited just to play one game of league footy. But it's true, you get in the competition you're in.
Well, that's where the 50 was given. The grass strips are at least 20 metres. Well, that's 60 metres. Good 50's gone 60.
That's nice.
That'll do.
Umpire appreciation round. Jack Crisp appreciated the 65-metre penalty just received. 48 points the difference. Bombers in front. As you can see, 9:22 left on the clock in this third term. Big Hudson up against Bell Chambers. At it like $2. Off the ground, Melsham with a big kick inside 50 off the ground. Good play. Ryder battling. Davey tries to crash through. Merritt thumps it out wide. Hopes for the best. Brown gets the bad bounce. Half anticipated. Nothing he could do about it. Dempsey dives in over the top, knocks it out. Good play. Hooker was there. Hocking back to Hooker through Lovett Murray. Transference of play is good. Zaharakis. Melksham. Bell Chambers wants it at centre half forward. That's where it goes. Look at the kick. Bombers kicking today. Passing Derm has been fantastic.
Oh, it's spot on.
This guy is usually a beautiful kick. Dempsey's kick to the spot is pretty good.
Hands.
Yeah, free kick.
Going to come up with a little quirky one about Jonathan Brown. He's on a long lead here. It hasn't been honoured. He's going to have to work back.
Well, Lester and Rich. It's a shocker. Melksham inside the Hocking. Had to go backwards for it.
Boss, advantage.
Jeddah, advantage, goal.
Oh, Sauce. Bit of a slap in the face.
Kicks his second of the quarter.
Well, he's had a good quarter, Jeddah. But the bomber that has impressed the most again today is Brett Stanton. 10 possessions in this third quarter again. And his work rate and his gut running and his speed is fantastic. And that's what you're speaking about there with Jonathan Brown. Top of screen.
He could have made it to the wing. He's got to swing back quick, Rich, and hit the wing on that one.
Let's just have a look at the recipe for success, guys. You can see that Essendon well on top in all three, and I think the disposal efficiency has probably been the most pleasing thing
That's good.
that James Hird will be looking at today. 80% is a big figure.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm a little bit worried for Jonathan Brown's fitness at the moment. I'd actually be looking at, he's run really hard. He's got a bit ragged on the lead occasionally. I'd actually be looking after his hamstrings now, thinking in this way. He's running really hard and he's had to dive a few times, and with a limited background, you would hate to lose him to a soft tissue at the moment. I'd actually start guarding him. You're not going to win the game. Let him run out, but don't let him get injured.
Umpire screen, pay the mark. It's the deck, and love it. Murray gets to Bill Chambers, who's having the game of his life. Heppel likewise can't collect this. Well, he does the second time. Davey on 50. Thought about the big sticks over the head of Paddy Ryder. Jenner again. He spent that before he earned it. Hanley. Last line of defence. Dangerous, but it comes off. Redden wants to go down the middle. Maguire stole that from Rockcliffe. Hands it off to Hanley. It wasn't there to be given. Rockcliffe should have got it in the first place. Maguire spears it wide. Impossible for Harwood. And everything that touch turns to stone right now, the Brisbane Lions.
If there's one place to be critical of the Bombers, they've been inside the forward 50 49 times for only 7 marks. Just that final kick going in, not finding its target.
You know what? They're also trying to invent the kick, I reckon, sometimes. And they've had quite a few goals kicked where they've hit the top of the square, crumbed, and it's a standard procedure. They try to bite off the straight off the bench, Joe Watson.
Jono, Stanton's hard running again, put him right in position there. Belchamber's kick missed the target, but he is running so hard, and he's got it again.
Yeah, on cue, Eddie. He is up to 28 disposals now, 11 marks. His work rate just sets a standard for his teammates.
And guys, I'll ask you a question in a second. Let Belchambers kick the ball through here. Crammery, he likes this end. He kicked 4 in the first quarter. He's in trouble this time, though, and in trouble and gone. Boys, let's not forget that the Brisbane Lions last week played in a flood. Yeah. They'd be leg heavy.
So without question.
No doubt. Every pound you carry on your foot is worth 3 on your back, and it's the multiplication effect again. Yep.
But still no excuse for that fumble from Cornelius. They can't. He dropped a couple of chest marks in the opening quarter.
Yeah, true, but he seems to do that. That was the tackle. He gets slammed. Watch his right shoulder go into it here. Bang.
Bang.
He had a right to tackle.
That was right.
Aggressively that time, though. He still had the ball, and he was refusing to get rid of it.
Mind you, when you get 103 kilos on your point of your shoulder, you feel it.
There's a good tackle. Monfries of Golby.
Right or not, it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
That's right.
It's all right for Dwayne. He does it every night in bed. He rolls over.
Yeah, I'd wrestle with my son now. Absolutely. He's getting too big to wrestle now. From the ball up, Zaharakis. Couldn't break through with it. Lonigan does.
Good hands.
Watson. Short pass. Melksham. Hits the pass option. Crammery. He's up. He's okay, but he's not galloping all that quickly. Gathers 50 from goal, slips it to Dempsey, goes to goal from there. Monfries on the line, 1 grab, 2. Oh, that's crazy good. Kicks the goal from there.
They're going to call for it.
Okay, so you're going to touch the vision. All right, great. Video review. You both confirm the ball was touched on the line. Scotty, the kick, right? I reckon it's touched.
So the goal umpire says it's touched.
as that happens, Ed, we've got Crameri coming to the bench. He looks sore. That right rib cage area, that left rib cage area, real problems.
So the goal umpire says it's touched. So if there's any dispute here, it's touched.
That's touched.
That's touched. Good call by the goal umpire. And well done by the video review, because we've actually got the cameras in the right spot today to pick that one up.
And listen to the Essendon fans boo when this result comes up. They haven't seen enough goals already today, Doom.
The goal umpire's in the right spot, but he would have heard that as well. There'd be a clear ricochet.
It's funny because I didn't see him say, I believe it was touched, but I'm not sure. I believe that they should actually give their opinion.
No, did.
You did go that way?
He said it's touched. I just need to be reaffirmed.
Okay, good.
Well, at least the crowd knows the right decision was made in the end, even if they don't like the fact they didn't get a goal.
It's not going to placate the Bomber fans.
Patful, Cornelius. He's not having a great day at the office, Cornelius. Tries to mop up his own little mess. Banfield jumps on Dyson. Easy free for Ricky Dyson.
That was a complete miscue from a set kick for Cornelius.
Hold there, thank you.
So the Bombers through Howlett. Right on centre wing. Just eating the clock up. 4.5 minutes to go. 45 points in front, 55 points in front. Fletcher, as I said earlier, Fletcher could play till he's 70 if he is able to play like he is today.
He's getting tested out about once every 4 weeks by top-ended teams. And games like this, he's actually loving it.
There's Jono's man, Stanton. What do you like about his game, Jono?
Oh, it's purely... the pleasing thing for Stanton over the last 6 months is what happened last year in terms of the flack that he was copping, and then to stand up and respond and play the way he is today. I think that's what pleases me the most out of him, because that mental state, that mental strength to be able to overcome that and then get back out in the park and play well.
I tell you what,
Paddy Ryder. Adcock. A few jumper punches.
If you were to slow down the replay of this footage.
That's on, and the Bomber fans are going berserk here at Etihad Stadium. Paddy Ryder right in the action. Merit a bit of a slap, 50-metre penalty. It was on.
You have to slow down that video footage of that entire 45 seconds.
Which they will Monday.
You will find a few things come out of that.
Fletcher. As I said earlier, 37 years of age on Monday, and he has got Simon Madden's 378-game record in his sights right now, and he'll have a shot at goal, maybe a big torpedo from 60.
Let's go the torpedo. Roll back the
Hopefully
clock.
the umpire doesn't take him too close.
Look at the Essendon fans behind the goals. They're bowing to him.
Come on, Dustin.
He's pointing to the goal square.
In he comes. Wide up. It wasn't straight, but it was long. It was 80.
It was good.
He's got a sense of theatre.
It's going to push out our own Paul Roos out of the top 10 game players in a couple of weeks, Dustin Fletcher. Top 10 AFL, VFL game players of all time. Simon Madden's record well within his sights right now.
He's got a long way to go to jump the bloke in number 7, though.
He has.
Sitting next
Brad
to
Johnson, of course. 364-game champion in the box with us, Brad Johnson. Jonathan Brown pokes this one back to Simon Black. Speaking of greats, dumped away from him. Fletcher on cue. Hands it to Hooker. Half back. Bombers doing as they please. Bell Chambers.
He's a great result for Essendon, this bloke, Tom Bell Chambers. To take the step, Simon Madden, the greatest ruckman, of course, the bloke we're talking about, their games record holder, has been working with him, and they would be delighted. He's grown into himself and into his head, as you said, Doom, declaring himself now the #1 player. With Hill out of the side, once upon a time, you'd think the Bombers would nearly be cooked. I think they thought for a while there that Bell Chambers would never get there. He's starting to look the goods.
There are not many clubs that have a bloke sitting third in line who've come up and done what this bloke's doing at the moment.
Yeah, he's still only 22 years of age as the Bombers go through the centre. Crameri back on the ground, gets the handball going. Here it goes. Chance for Collier. Listen to the Bomber fans, they'll tell the story. Is what they say. It's a point.
He's just been substituted into the game, Eddie. Courtney Dempsey is having a rest due to coming back from injury, obviously.
Yep.
Been protected.
Yeah, just 8 games in 2 years essentially, Courtney Dempsey. That's a big fly. Cornelius finally holds one.
So he's all right in the hands, not on the chest.
Inboard to Harwood, and
Oops.
kick was errant as well. Collier tried to make a statement now that he's on. Stanton set up a little. Watson, we're inside 2 minutes to three-quarter time. And a wrap-up tackle by Jake Carlisle. All comes free. Crowd wanted a free. Don't get it.
Great play.
So Davey pokes it back to Zaharakis, and they can have another roll of the dice here, the Bombers.
Dyson's vision was just beautiful.
Carnish is into the game as well, boys, for Billy Longer subbed out as well.
Dyson just had the wherewithal to poke the ball out wide to Zaharakis. Great play. Free kick going the way of the Brisbane Lions. So Polkinghorne brings the ball into play. Big Hudson, who copped one early from Bell Chambers. Nothing untoward, but had to go off to the bench for a while with the blood rule. Dyson fights hard, punches well, front and square. Wonderful play by McGrath. Great tackle by Zaharakis. Dyson slaps it on the boot again, into the right place. Over the head goes Monfries. No one there for the Bombers though. Maguire holds the ball up. Eventually ends up with Polkinghorne, who comes out wide to Rich. Centre wing, pokes it up the line. Just inside.
That's it, Ricky.
Kinesis, who was the substitute for his first touch. 29 seconds. Brisbane hoping to not concede here. See if they can conjure something in the last 20 seconds of this quarter as the Bombers continue to extend their lead. Hudson's handball's a shocker. We'll have a throw in with 13 on the clock.
If you actually divide up the amount of entries inside 50, we're at 57 to Essendon for 28 shots at goal, 28 for Brisbane, and you take those, the amount of scoring, they're probably looking at winning the last quarter with fatigue setting in by another 6 or 7 goals. It turns into a massive, massive margin.
All right, we've got 5 seconds on the clock, and then we'll have a good look at that fight. Doom, you wanted the slow-mo vision. We'll show it to you in a moment.
Yeah, that's well worth an examination.
Throw in as the clock ticks down to three-quarter time. 108 to 52. That'll do us. And a little bit of spark. Still a little bit going on as they separate. But there's no love lost there in a passage of play that saw nearly all the players in the ground congregate in the forward pocket for the Bombers. Let's see how it started here. Ryder's in, gets one. Adcock trying to get a free kick, then it's on. Then Ryder says, hey, Adcock, you're a bit small for me, pal. Merritt from behind. Pushing and shoving. Nothing there yet, Doom, I wouldn't have thought. Nah, give that a 0-all draw, I reckon.
To keep him.
He's a Collingwood man. He loves playing for the club. We get first and last refusal. People don't leave Collingwood. They come to Collingwood.
Final term underway here at Etihad Stadium.
going.
The Bombers have the Lions at their mercy. Davey pounces on 50. Couldn't quite control it initially. Does, but Golby tried to take it to the line. Has some success. And we'll get a ball in. 56 points as it stands right now, but been threatening to blow out all afternoon. And it could blow out big time in this final term if the Bombers get their way. Melksham, top of the square. Cramery scrambles it out. Lester caught, dropped it. No free. Hocking, he'd love one. Howlett straight up in the air. Not 15. Play on as you heard. Thump down towards the boundary. Zaharakis got there first. Redden tried to take him down. Hocking ducks out of that one. They've still got some energy, these boys. Going in hard. Adcock taken to the deck. Ball up.
Jono, set the task for the Bombers. They lead by 56 points. What's a win to finish off this game for them?
Well, Derm and I were speaking at three-quarter time, and 140 points, Ed, is what we think the Bombers will finish on, to 64 for the Lions. So we'll keep an eye on that as this last quarter unfolds.
Okay, and player down there, another Bomber. We'll have a good look at this one in a moment as Hooker gets the ball out. That's the only thing they don't need at the moment. It looks like a bad knee. It's the last thing Essendon need is some more injuries. That's the one thing they want to get through this last quarter. I think they trade those 5 goals, Jono, to get through the last bit unscathed.
He's in a lot of pain.
Yep. Can't just quite pick it up at the
Might be
moment.
Cramery.
Is it?
It's Cramery,
It
boys.
is Cramery. OK, Kingy, keep an eye on it, mate. Terrible news there. Stewie Cramery, 4 goals in the first term. He thought it was his day.
Absolutely. Banfield. Everybody's watching Cramery and not the ball at the moment in the crowd. There's stunned silence at the moment. Karnesis beelines it. Caught. Dyson had him in a half tackle and Carlisle hacks it toward the boundary. It should stay in. Howlett will get there first. Cramery being carried from the field.
Let's have a look at the replay here, Dwayne. And Stewie Cramery tried to walk off on his own steam there and then couldn't. So look at this one.
Oh, ankle as well, went underneath there, Ed.
Or is it lower leg?
No,
He
gone
goes
for the knee.
for the knee,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I think you're right, though. There, Jono is hobbling off at the moment with both.
So Patfull, after the ball hit the deck, dragged down. Stanton, a splendid tackle. Heppel, but still stunned silence here at Etihad Stadium, with everybody wondering how bad Stuart Cramery's knee injury is. If it was a broken leg, they would have taken him off on the stretcher, so he's at least been able to hobble off. Karnesis will line up from 50.
well, they'll be looking to next week as well, where they play the West Coast Eagles here at Etihad Stadium, and that's why there's the silence. One, in hope that Cramery's okay, but 2, they need their key forward against the West Coast Eagles.
Really wrenched there. Merritt's, he's taken some casualties with his tackling today.
Karnesis, who's come on as the sub, sprays that across the face. Ryder with the big leap, couldn't bring it down. Polkinghorne threads it out, but straight to Jetta. Stanton had his kick half knocked away. Heppel still over it. Some of the sting's gone out of this at the moment. Stanton tries to hack it away. Davey gets the play on court. Jetta was caught high, but he puts the Jets on. Not a lot to go to forward.
He completely wants to reverse that decision to play on.
Cramery not there for him. And in the end, Melksham has to make a contest on the outer side and get himself a free.
David King, if we can come down to you, Stewie Cramery seemed to be moving a little bit more freely as he went down to the room. So what was your view?
Yeah, he did. It just late there was walking down the race. He's been taken downstairs immediately just for assessment. It looked like he could put some weight on that leg. It looked like a medial to me. It didn't look like the full-blown AC, which looked to be great news at this early stage.
Let's hope so. Yeah, I think as Jono said, that there seemed to be the ankle went first and then the knee went in between the two. Hopefully might have absorbed enough of it. Yeah. Now this is an out of bounds on the full here. The kick ricocheted from Melksham off the Lions' leg, and we'll have a look at the replay of this in a moment. Bomber fans are getting greedy. They want everything today.
What's new?
Derm's in at the Bomber fans again. Oh, I love them. We'll give you good reason for it in a moment. Redden gets the ball out now. Chance for the Brisbane Lions, but there's all black and red everywhere here. Lovett Murray has had a good return to football. And again, look at this. They're just wide open, Essendon, on the exit. Hocking has got it. He can run the field if he wants. Just trotting, finding some space. Inside he goes to Zaharakis.
He's out again, Hocking.
Now Hocking's gone. No one ran with him. McGrath just pointed.
He's
no
hurt
point
him.
pointing.
He's hurt McGrath.
Yeah, but look at that. Just stepped around him. Hocking high up and under. Bell Chambers pushed out. No, says the umpire. Adcock relieves.
That's a professional spoil by Goose Maguire there. Just took the body.
Karnesis out of side to Golby. It's been a disastrous day for the Brisbane Lions. They came into this thinking that they would have been a contender in this game, and they really haven't been in it. Bombers had them on the ropes from the outset. Still a better start to the season for the Lions than last year when they lost their first 7 games of the year, but it's going to be just 2 wins.
He's got some kids out there.
Yeah, and
4
Dwayne,
losses for the Lions to start this.
they look like a team that played in the swamp last week, don't they?
Simon Black loads up from 40, and even he can't nail the goal from that distance out.
Ash McGrath has come to the bench, boys. It's some sort of upper thigh or groin issue at the moment. He couldn't run, as you mentioned, Ed. He just couldn't quite chase Heath Hocking down that wing, and he'll be assessed on the pine now.
Yeah, well, there he is. There's the shot to explain what happened. Ash McGrath had a good game until that stage, and Hocking was able to just walk away from him.
Good on Brian.
Yep, so the kick to himself means that the kick out without being touched over line out of bounds was taken out of play. So throw in.
It's hanging off Goose.
What's he strapping?
Ball comes out the back to Pollock. Rockcliffe. Rich.
Surely Goose Maguire doesn't travel that quick. He leaves a vapor trail.
Here we go. There's a vapor trail. Davey, if he can get going, he'll leave one. Onto the left boot. No look goal. If you don't mind, Davey! Goal number 3. Alwyn Davey.
He does. He has steam coming off his heels when he lays the ears back, that bloke. He's good.
Look at this one,
It's a
guys.
great goal, isn't it, Ed? Because the handball makes him stop. No look, knows exactly where the goals are. That's just a classic goal from Davey. From 52 on the turn.
You make a great point, Jono, and that is, given where you are on the ground, your knowledge and whereabouts at the 50 line, the curve, how close you are to the boundary, some players can snap towards goal and know that they're hitting it between the sticks without ever looking at it. And it's a unique talent that few people have.
Heppel got a kick without taking possession. Watson, Davey again, inspired right now to Stanton. Up, couple to beat. Rich and Stanton get there at the same time, and Howlett takes it across the line. But they could well punish the Lions here, the Bombers, and get a percentage boost. The Bombers, one of those teams that are unlucky. They only meet Brisbane once, Greater Western Sydney once, Gold Coast once, and Melbourne once. So for that draw, they really need to get as much percentage out of games like these as they possibly can, because they don't get the big fill meeting those teams twice like some clubs do. Black hands it back to Rich. Pops it back to half forward. Jonathan Brown has hardly seen it. Sees it here.
That's a good kick by Rich off the half step without really securing the ball.
He sits it on Patfull a little. Fletcher takes an arm. No free. And it rolls to the back and across the boundary.
Yeah, Patfull's not happy. He asked the umpire why not.
That's good news. Yeah, Cramer is up and running.
Yeah, he's just going for a stride in front of us, guys. He looks quite well. No strapping on the knee. That's a great sign. The Bomber fans are very happy to see it.
Banfield's kick to the goal square. Fletcher from behind, as usual, just gets the hand in. Lovett Murray, little poke over the top is a good one. Hooker with that ungainly running style. Gets away. At the Zaharakis, little kick forward. Stanton puts his body on the line and does it again.
You know, when you run, when you're a kid and you run in your dad's shoes because they're 6 sizes too big for you, keep your feet low to the ground so they don't come off.
The shuffle.
Yeah, that's how Hooker runs.
I reckon he's got Cliff Young's gumboots on.
Well, I reckon he did a lot of running as a kid in his old man's shoes.
That's the best explanation of a running style I've ever heard.
I've never done it, so I'm going to get my dad's shoes when I get home.
We're getting a bit of an insight into the mind of Dermot Brown today. As Brown goes short to the
Have a look at it next time. His feet don't come up high off the ground.
Kinesis has got it.
He's like a pacer. The trots.
He's not doing the bum flick too well. He doesn't get the heels up to touch.
He's never going to do a quad running, is he?
No.
Kinesis comes in and misses to the near side. I'll tell you what, he's been effective though today, because Jonathan Brown hasn't had much of it.
That's right.
So Carl Hooker from East Fremantle.
They're a big team, Essendon. They've got a lot of tall, big players.
Straight down the middle. Belchamber, speaking of tall players, just bumped out of that. Yes, Hill to come back. If they ever get Gumbleton going, who knows?
Well, you've got Ryder as well, and then you. Well, Hooker's a 6'5", 6'6" type player.
Stanton sold that one well. Zaharakis. Stanton runs on. And Stanton gets. He's got a couple of shorts. Monfree's leading short. Still there if he wants him. He tries to hit him. And he couldn't quite half volley at Angus Monfrees.
I'd love to know what testing they do for endurance at the Bombers and what levels Brett Stanton is at, because I watched closely Daniel Cross for many years, and this guy looks, if not on par with a Daniel Cross with running ability.
Lonigan has had a great day. Just gets the end of the ball on the boot there. High up and under. They fly against each other. Good play by Pollock, who's shown a bit today. Woodville West Torrens player, 19 years of age. Pick 5 in the 2010 NAB draft. Golby, another young player, 20 years of age. Patfull was in there. Golby followed up his kick, which you like to see a player do, over the line out of bounds.
You wonder what heights the Bombers can go to this year, Ed. I think that most people had them out of their 8 at the start of the season. They've had a fast start, 5-1 at the end of today. You wonder whether we have to reassess the Bombers given their newfound form. And
Kingy, I'd like your thoughts on their training. I'll ask in a moment, because they've had some soft tissue, but they have built up and turned themselves into a finals-looking side. Might have had some early casualties. Hasn't hurt them on the ladder, though. They've only lost 1 game by a point, as we've been talking about through the course of the day. So some early pain might get some late-season gain. That's the idea from James Hird, certainly.
Last 3 entries inside 50, they suffered from not having Crammery already, and that's evident. They've had to backtrack and go out to Ryder on that occasion. They went to Monfries in the forward pocket on this side of the ground. You can already see there's just a little bit of, not uncertainty, but just straightens them up with his ability to lead and contest.
Kingy, you played obviously under Dennis Pagan, who wasn't adverse to making you train hard.
No, he had a few fat blokes to work with, Ed. That was the problem. So, look, I think it's going to pay dividends in 2013, 2014, the base that these guys are getting. We know they've put on a couple of kilo each physically just to handle that finals-type football when it comes around. But the structures and the setups and the damage that they've got in their game now, I think, is more impressive than their physique.
Stanton never stops running, averaging 26 possessions a game this year again. High towards the square off hands. They've got Michael Hurley, who could come back next week. It's doubtful that he will. They might make him wait an extra week with his hamstring, but they've got some goal-kicking power still to come back.
Well, there's another 6'4" bloke.
Yeah. Run down from behind, tackle. Polkinghorne had it. Crowd wanted a free against him. Harwood. Hanley tries to part the seas. Rich with a handball over the top. Made it tough for Crisp. Made it impossible for Crisp. Lovett Murray to Dyson. Howland, turnover, back to Harwood. Still a chance for Crisp to have an impact. Front spot, Hardingham. And again they peel. Zaharakis decides not to go straight away, holds it up.
And Eddie, just to follow up on that point, last year when they started so well, the Bombers, but everyone was expecting them to drop away. This year with the start well again, just their depth and their strength, they should be able to continue it on.
John O'Brown's got a wicket here, boys. Kyle Hardingham, as he kicked that ball, he's already got a damaged left shoulder as it is, and I think Brownie's just tested to see if it's still functional at the moment.
Now the strapping on it.
It was a target.
A lot of players get cranky as they get older. Brownie's just on the edge of that age. It could do some damage with that sort of size.
Yeah, the old bandage giveaway. Charlie Sutton in the grand final had a bad thigh. He wrapped up the other one because he knew they'd be trying to hit him. Back in 54. Mind you, I think not too many hit Charlie that he didn't square up or maybe got in early. Heppel's been fantastic again today. Kicks forward. Some icing on the cake for the Bombers coming up maybe. Adcock has been a good player today. Gets the 1-2 going. Now he's in trouble. Hudson did well. Kick coming out from Hanley. Up towards Brown. Full-chested takes the mark. Gives it away to Banfield. Banfield, he went under his legs nearly there. It was like the midget wrestlers in the old days, Derm. Underneath the old referee's legs. Here's a chance for Cornelius. Cowboy Gibson. That's it in little Tojo. As the ball goes to the boundary line, we'll have a throw in.
He's played 350-odd games, Dustin Fletcher, and I think that's the first time he's seen that move.
He almost got nutmegged.
Brown takes it out of the ruck, but it's just not his day. Jonathan Brown has had a tough time of it since coming back from a second of his bad facial injuries. Just the 1 goal last week and hasn't seen a lot of it today, even though he's got a couple to his name. Almost a throw from Watson there to Lovett Murray. Threads a handball out straight through Polkinghorne. Umpire's found something in danger. Brisbane Lions free. And the crowd getting a little restless here. 36,361 in at Etihad Stadium. Probably coming along to get out of the weather. It's a disastrous day outside. And long bomb at goal from Leicester. Comes through for a behind. Great to have the roof in winter in Melbourne.
Just one.
Yep. Fantastic.
Looked at it, Banfield, too.
He actually
Looked at
gave
the
him the
hole.
Olé. He went underneath the cape.
Lonigan kicks up the line. Good play. Melksham's been good today. He's a good player, Jack Melksham.
They're just breaking down a little bit, 60 metres from goal.
Yeah, I think
The
both
Bombers
sides would declare if they had the opportunity here.
Yeah, if you could call bad light, they would. They just got to. But you know what? It's an opportunity for someone like Ryder to go, you know what, this is my time to actually see if I can pour on 3 quick ones, take a couple of clunks, teach me, relearn how to lead to the midfield as they stream forward. Because Brisbane Lions, all their numbers are back behind the ball, so whenever they get it and pump it out, it's going to come back in fairly quickly.
Gold Chambers is throwing his body around. Look at that from Monfries. They've got another one. Monfries gets his second.
Well, Bell Chambers, he drew the crowd with his big leap over the top of Ben Hudson. And the ball went behind. He didn't get a hand on it. And Monfries was at the back of the contest. We see here the long ball in. Bell Chambers up. Early leap. Didn't touch the ball, and a clever goal from another player who just knew where they were, Doom.
Yeah.
So the Bombers out to an 11-goal lead now. They lead by 66 points. Rodney Eade, your players of the game so far.
I think the two main ones there have been Brent Stanton and Dyson Heppel. That Stanton was tagged in the first quarter by Golby. He had 7 or 8 possessions which weren't too effective, but that was dropped. And then Heppel being the loose player in defence has really hurt them.
About the ticketed time on final term. Polkinghorne bangs it inside 50. Brown can't get a run at it, neither Cornelius. Carlisle did well. Banfield just as good to Black. Feeds it back, but there was no one there. Obviously heard a voice. Crisp, Patfull, Harwood. And that was too tough for Karnesis to grab. Back to Banfield. Tries to burst his way through. Still gets an opportunity. Turns it over to Watson. And now the Bombers have some space on the run. Collier. First game back from a broken thumb pre-season. So he's looking lively and fresh. Kick not so good, though. Hanley cuts that off to Golby. Back to Hanley. Pops it wide. Jonathan Brown up to the wing. Takes the mark. Karnesis out wide. 70 from goal. 20 minutes gone final term. 66 points to margin. It's the biggest lead of the game. To the top of the square. Patfull can't get the jump. Front spot, though. Good grab for
It looks
the Brisbane Lions.
The jump was
his
like
ball.
Cornelius.
Yep, it is Cornelius.
Yeah, he jumped at it like... This bloke's got some talent. He can clunk them overhead. Jumps early. Some parts of his game, when he almost got a fresh area from a set kick before. Some areas you just say, we've got to really tighten up and tidy on this. But he's a bloke who knows how to lead, and can mark well over his head in a pack.
And he kicks that straight, just squeezes it in for a consolation prize for him. He kicked 4 goals 3 a couple of weeks ago against the Gold Coast and looked like he was going to be about to have a standout arrival year. And then last week didn't really do much against Geelong, and he's had some good patches but some bad patches today.
No, I'm not talking about his social standing, but as a forward line player, he's immature in the way he goes about his football, but he is talented. I like watching him. I reckon he's something to work with.
So the margin back to 10 goals, 36,361 in today. Stewie Kermery getting some ice on that ankle and also on the knee, and he sits out the rest of the game.
And so too does Ash McGrath for the Lions, Ed, so it's perfectly fair at the moment. Very sporting of both clubs.
You said they're going to declare a bit earlier there, Kingy. Maybe they have. Anyway, Bombers would want at least to win by 10 goals. That's a nice psychological barrier. Walk off with a 10-goal win in any game is a beauty. And conversely,
angled that punch, Dustin Fletcher. He drew the the fist across to that direction to get it out of the corridor.
The Lions will want to get inside their 10-goal range. Patfull tries to get it going. Here's a chance for Brown from 48 on the fly. He kicks it to the front of the square. Perfect position. Up goes Fletcher. Did well. He just guarded the drop zone. Didn't get near it, Derm, but his opponent was never going to mark that ball.
No. See, the thing there, Cornelius's jump needed to be an earlier jump, but directly into the body, so Fletcher's taken out of a jump. And it doesn't have to be as theatrical as Cornelius was thinking. It just has to be a chest mark by shifting the opponent out of the way.
Stanton will get the free kick for out of bounds on the full, on half back. So just under 4 minutes left in this game of playing time. Good result for the Bombers. Just over 36,000 of their fans basically here. Not too many Brisbane Lions supporters.
Possession 39 for
Merritt
Stanton.
off the back. Over the line, out of bounds. Another goal would be very handy for the Bombers to go into the 11-goal victory.
I can't think of another season at the 6th round mark where we've had so many players. Having said that, Gary Ablett contributed 3 of them, 40 possession games. Even when we were getting, you know, the Geelong teams of 2-3 years ago were 500 possession games. We weren't getting that many 40 possession players. We're getting 1 or 2 blokes do it every weekend.
Stanton's about to be one of those. Bell Chambers to Watson. That's 35 for Watson. And his 35th was a beauty to Jetta, who can line up for goal number 3. So Stanton at the moment's got 39, Watson 35, Heppel 33. On the other side of the page, Rich with 29 and Redden with 28, Black 25, the best for Brisbane.
And the other thing we were mentioning before, they're a big team, Essendon. They've got some big lads out there. If you were a midfielder, Jono, you ended up having to play key position for the Dogs. If you were a midfielder and you saddle up next to Joe Watson, you'd be looking at him saying, oh, mate, you're meant to be outside the square, standing on the spine somewhere. He's an enormous on-baller.
He's bigger than John Nichols. Yeah. He comes in and kicks his 3rd goal to Leroy Jetta, back out to a 11-goal lead for the Bombers. Bombers fans are nice and excited here with Leroy Jetta. Dermot's been giving them a little bit of a poke, and with good reason, because there's form. As Dermot Brereton, we look back on just some of the great moments where Derm really got the Bomber fans up and going.
Yeah, this will go down well.
Billy's
There's a good mate, Billy. Hello to Billy over in Perth.
Yeah, no, that was Waverley, that one.
No, but he's in Perth now, Billy.
Yeah, well, he left after that game.
Wonderful bloke.
Shamed.
Really
Great bloke. Billy Duckworth's one of the great personalities. All right, let's go, guys. 11 goals in front. The Bombers fans are nice and happy. They're pumped up. Dwayne, we've got 2 minutes and 41 seconds as Fletcher sits down. Let's go.
From the ball up, it's their biggest score of the year. The Bombers 19-13, 127. So it's going to be their biggest victory, biggest score to half forward Melksham. Bouncing ball, he gathers on 50. Looks forward, spears it to the top of the square, almost a scoop from Watson. Lonergan steals, gets up, hands it back to Watson, to Davey, looks up, he rolls it across the face. Only a behind.
Oh, Jetta was saying, come on, brother, what about a bit of love across the square? Watch it, he might sneak into the screen here, Jetta, on the right-hand side. Just out of screen, put the hands up.
The Bombers resting Fletcher now. They'd rest them all if they could. Crisp tries to thread a handball through some traffic. Cornelius got his arms free, but Hocking wrapped him up. Carlisle, Heppel, Zaharakis. They line up again. He's got the short on. Melksham.
Well, he'll go back and have a set shot. Melksham, he's had a fantastic game from minute 1 right through. He's been very consistent today, and it'll be a packed house here next Saturday night, 7:40, when they play the West Coast Eagles. Looking forward to that.
That'll be a real good yardstick to see how they're going.
To punch this margin out to 73 points. And Melksham can't kick the goal. He's had to prove himself this year. Champion Data labelled him last year as one of Essendon's poorest kicks on his 2011 numbers. So he has had to make a statement this year a few times, and he couldn't nail that goal on cue. Merritt hands it over. Davey with the rundown. Little nudge to the back. Harwood.
Yep.
Quick kick forward is in the Jonathan Brown direction from Redden. He gathers his own crumb. Tries to run through a tackle. Can't. It's just not the old Jonathan Brown. Not the same spring. Not the same team either.
don't think he's been disgraced, though. He's had a real dig. I'd give him a 6 out of 10 for this game. Been things that have gone against him.
Adcock, Polek, Karnesis in the pocket. And Lovett Murray's had about enough in his return game as well.
You look at the pure stats of Jonathan Brown. 21 possessions, 11 kicks, 10 handballs, 8 contested possessions, 7 marks, a couple of goals. Yeah, spot on, Doom.
5 inside 50s, the most of anyone for the Lions, so he's had to come up a fair bit to meet the ball and then turn around and push it on it and in.
Karnesis the sub. Can't nail that either.
Doesn't get any easier for the Lions either, hosting Collingwood next Saturday night at the Gabba.
Ryder, front spot, Rockcliffe dumps it away from him. It's been a quieter day for Tom Rockcliffe. 34 and 30 possessions per game the last 2 games coming into this, and just the 20 possessions today. They've held him well.
Oh, where's Stanton? We want to get him his 40th possession. 11 seconds left. Throw in. Ball comes out to Hocking. Zaharakis. 4 seconds. 3, 2. No, that'll do. 39. That'll do you. Not a bad day at the office. Well done, Brent Stanton. Great effort. And the Bombers have got home by a lazy 67 points. 19-15, 129 to 9-8-62. Joe Watson back to great form. The coach looked at his midfield from last week. Stanton, Watson, who were beaten in the Anzac Day game, and they've responded beautifully today. 39 to Stanton, Watson 36, and that is a good result. That's the only blemish for the Bombers. Stewie Crameri, who went down with a knee ankle injury, just got his leg locked underneath his opponent, and well, Merritt inflicted some pain with his tackling today. And Stewie Crameri looked like he was moving okay, but it looks quite precautionary, the ice bags on both. Well, there's no doubt about it. This bloke, he could get some emotion about him from the Essendon fans. Today, it is standing ovation for Brent Stanton. He's with David King.
Just a lazy 39 today, Brent. What a fantastic day for yourself personally.
Yeah, it's always good to get a kick, but most importantly, we got a good win after last Wednesday. We were a bit disappointed, but it's good to come out here tonight and put on a good performance.
Did you make a pact as a midfield group to really get on top today, given maybe a fraction down last week?
Yeah, we were. We lost the contested ball and tackles last week, so as a focus coming into this game, we knew that Brisbane were going to put up a good fight, and we really pride ourselves on that side of the game, and we want to keep on improving. But yeah, it was good we set the scene early and we carried it through for the whole 120 minutes.
What about your game individually? How do you rate your game? I know you're a high work rate type player. You set benchmarks on how many possessions you want to get in a receive sense, or how do you assess your own game?
No, pretty much I come here to play my role for the team. It's probably a bit cliche, but that's the way we want to play, and if I can set up the field and help my teammates out, that's the main focus for me coming in every week.
Well done, mate. Go and enjoy.
Thank you.
Yeah, what a game it was for Stanton. 39 disposals, 78% efficiency. He had 6 inside 50s, 17 marks and 8 tackles. That's a good day at the office by anyone's estimation. Fantastic performance by Brent Stanton. Great performance by the Essendon team. They've cleaned them up, no doubt about it. They've won by 67 points. 19-15, 129 to the Brisbane Lions. 9-8-62.